get the recordings and the things going on here. And we'll count this one down in 3, 2, 1.
The Harbinger is here.
Core!
Well, welcome to Core, everybody. The first and last voice when it comes to what to do in your local lake and when. Thanks to Bo.
We're starting right off with the shitting in lakes.
That's right. We got to bring that up occasionally.
Anyway. Apparently the big talk in the Core chat this week has been the beaches in Ottawa are closed because too much E. coli, and everyone was blaming me.
Oh,
Bo, you shitting in all the rivers.
Yep.
Is that true?
It's relevant to video games because it was in our Core chat. This is what our listeners wanted to talk about.
Sure.
Week,
so I didn't know this was a thing. Is that going to get itself cleaned up? And
well, I mean, they've tested it again, and apparently it's swimmable. But I haven't been checking it daily because I don't really swim in the beaches here. But
not keeping up on the status of the thing.
I just like to imagine that news story landed. Bo woke up and there was a bunch of news vans and people just standing outside of where he lives, looking up. There he is, the lake shitter.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be amazing. Your reputation precedes you, man. That's all.
I have to, as long as I can, figure out how to monetize it. That's fine. They can bring me to jail, and I can be all over the press.
Well, they made a sticker out of it.
Yeah, it must be true. They made a damn sticker. Well, anyway, congratulations on.
There's a T-shirt. I think there are people that walk around with me on their chest.
That's true. We sold a bunch of those T-shirts, and we also moved a bunch of those stickers. So your lake run thing is not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big deal.
It's one of those things like a moment will come, and all of a sudden, my face will be everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's going to look great.
Yeah, I think it looks great now. But
boom, I'll be controversial public figure of the week. They're like, that guy's shitting a lamp.
That's right. But if you're a patron, you'll know that Bo writes rap tracks, and we talked about that on our pre-show today, and it's really.
I thought you
good.
were going to play the track actually as the intro as a joke.
I mean, I could have, I guess. I don't know. It's pretty good. Is the problem? It's really
look. The highlight was not the fact that I made rap songs. The highlight is the fact that Scott is a freestyle god and and has been holding back on his true calling. That's what you really need to tune in for. So go over to patreon.com/core show and
it's got a
sign
content,
up, even if just for 1 week, just to get a little taste of the old Scott freestyling, because I don't think in the many years I've listened to your content, I don't think you've ever heard you do that once.
I used to do it at the end of, I would play, what's the 50 Cent song? Dun, 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 dun. What is it? In the club. In the club. Yeah. That one. I used to play the instrumental version of that. A Duck Club, right? I'd play instrumental version of that at the end of TMS, and then I would do a quick improv rap on it. But those never got recorded, other than they're like lost to the ether and YouTube.
I've watched live a few times. I just never caught one. Damn.
It's
now it's caught.
Yeah.
The Sasquatch has been caught on camera. The Sam Squatch. You should check that out.
All right. Well, I will. Well, anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Quick note before we get going here. Everybody, I've been getting a lot of requests this week for people saying, hey, Scott, I know Core's got a little guild thing happening both in retail and classic over there for the show. Wondering if you guys are going to do any cross-realm business now that the retail version of the game supports cross-realm guilds. And the answer to that is yes. And in fact, we're taking cross-realm applications. Just seek out Straven in our Discord. Find him. He'll tell you what to do. Simple as that.
This is for World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft, John. World of Warcraft. It's the one.
World of Warcraft.
That's the one.
Careful with that last one. It went a little different than I intended it.
Indeed.
But yes, World of Warcraft is the place.
That is the place, and it is the what do you call it? The War Within content, which pre-patch content introduced the cross guild thing. So that's a thing now. You can actually do it now ahead of the expansion. And so if you are interested in that, we got a bunch of people who are going to dive in for that expansion, and you are welcome in there. So look up Tanner, aka Straven, in our Discord, and he'll help you out. Frogpants.com/Discord. All right. time for us to talk about this week's big news. Turns out Bethesda has been working on this for a while. And now the World of Warcraft team at Blizzard is also doing a thing. And you might say, what are they all doing together? Well, they all both are owned now by Microsoft. And they are also unionizing. In the case of Bethesda's
hooray.
I think the deal's done with Bethesda.
Well, now I'm very curious for Bo's take.
Yeah, I am too, actually.
Bo's coming in on this in a different direction than I expected.
No, I just meant to provide some background color. I just provided the wrong color.
Yeah. Pick
Bo's
the wrong
like, I
color.
had two reactions lined up. I pressed the wrong one, David.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
It's all right.
Yay, union. Woo.
Yeah, unions are good. In this case, I think the gaming business is, hungry for them, and they're going to get them, and they already got them at Bethesda. What's crazy is the Bethesda one is an unusual one in that it is what they call wall-to-wall. That means everybody with the
wall-to-wall unions, come and get them.
with the exception of management. I think it's no management yet, right? Like no owners or C-suite people
Todd
or any
can't
of that.
get in it.
Yeah.
No Todd.
No
We're
Todd.
Not interested, Todd.
Todd's fine. He's a millionaire. He's fine.
Stay out there and talk about Starfield, Todd.
But everyone else, from designers, devs, engineers, all the way down to the dude in the mailroom and game testers and all the whatever your lobby positions are at the company, they're a union now, and they are recognized by Microsoft as a union and are able to operate as such and have voting power and do all the things they do. Microsoft has been pretty vocally supporting this idea in the past, in that they have said, if studios want to do this, then we will recognize them as their terminology. They can't say, we love it and we'll have a party and we'll think it's the greatest thing ever, because I think that puts them in some weird liability positions. But as far as
they
like
probably have already had to deal with unions.
Who, Microsoft? Oh, I would assume so.
Yeah,
Especially in other countries, because other countries have some pretty strict rules compared to us.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's not like it's Bobby and his team, and it's like they have no unions to deal with, and they'd like the number to be 0. They probably already have to deal with,
Yeah, but it's good.
My assumption is they've dealt with these before, so they can be like, yep, we know what we need to do with them, I guess.
Now, does that stretch as far as like Microsoft not being able to do sweeping layoffs within companies or within devs that are officially unionized? I don't know how that works. Like, can they still have the power to say, sorry, Bethesda, you didn't make enough last quarter. You guys, we're going to have to shed like 200 of you people. Are they going to go, well, we're unionized now and you can't do that, Microsoft? Like, that doesn't feel like a thing they're going to get out of this deal. It seems like Microsoft still owns you, and they're still going to want to make decisions with you. But you might have some bargaining power. You might have some quality of work power. Like, we don't want to do so much crunch anymore. So here's our demands. Like, I'm not an expert on this stuff, so I don't know exactly how it goes. And some people are going to hear this and just think, well, unions are corrupt, so this is stupid.
They have been in the past, but
sure.
So are businesses. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, guess what? Everybody can do good things. Everybody can do bad things. Right now, we're in a situation where, in general, unions are not as much taking advantage of their situation at the detriment of the people they represent. And businesses probably, again, generally speaking, are probably taking more advantage of people than unions. Yeah. It probably will swing the other way, because we as a people have a tendency to not learn lessons from the last time. So, yes, unions are capable of being corrupt. We know that because it happened before. And it probably will happen again. But that's not the stage of the pendulum we're at yet. So
also,
we'll
like
get
saying
there.
Everyone needs to eat.
Give it a little while. We're not there yet. But,
yeah.
Just saying like a thing can be corrupt. It can be true of anything.
True.
A government, a company, a union. Like, it's not an argument against unions.
No.
It's just, you'll hear it from people that don't like them as an argument against them. But
it's usually usually the big companies.
Our incorporated world is sure vulnerable to corruption. Like, you ever hear that like self-reflection when you talk to somebody like that? So
no, they don't talk about that.
I wouldn't listen to that. But I mean, it's nice to have a positive moment, and I hate to like nosedive into cynicism, but the reason why I say they're probably it's not a silver bullet, depending on like what the level of protection is. I'm not familiar with how it is in the States, but they are making video games. It's one thing if people aren't getting food or not getting electricity.
Yeah.
There are other, the striking, like we had a pretty big strike up here with a few years ago, maybe 5 or 6, with the mail service, Canada Post. Like, no mail. It's very it's very disruptive being on strike. It causes a lot of problems. Or actually, Toronto. You've probably had this in the States too, but Toronto's garbage collectors had a union, and I believe they went on strike, so there's no garbage collection for like 2 months.
Like now, like right now, like you.
No, it was about 5 to 8 years ago. It was,
okay.
But it was a big thing because Toronto turned into a disease-ridden cesspool. Right? Like nobody's picking up garbage. People still making garbage. And that's when you really have people over a barrel. It's not just I have rights, but it's like, well, we have the right to stop working. And now everyone gets to suffer. It's not just the workers complaining. It's everyone very unhappy with you. Just get, so that creates like strong pressure. I just don't know. It's like, yeah, Warcraft's not getting its expansion. There'll be some mad people, but, it's not going to hit the same way.
Yeah, it won't have the same societal upright. Yeah.
And the fact is that they are a big company, and if they're having a problem, I'm sure there are gymnastics they can do to move people, to incentivize top people, move stuff around, award the Blizzard IP to another studio at some point if they were the ones causing problem. They're probably not going to purposely antagonize them, but like it makes it probably harder for the unions to negotiate or play really hardball, with the politics of it. Right. When you're like dealing with a company that can just, it looks like this company doesn't make a lot of money because of the way they shuffle the money around. It's actually that entity that makes money, and we've moved some personnel over there. We've over years shrunk down the team, and now it's time to close the place where the union is. It's not like the whole of Microsoft is a vertical that has union everywhere.
No,
I guess is what I'm trying to say. So,
right. Well, we'll see what happens. Blizzard gave it a name. Their union is called, I find it here, the World of Warcraft Game Makers Guild. It's nice timing on this too, because their expansion's right out the door here shortly. Anyway, it comprises the entire World of Warcraft development team, including designers, engineers, artists, quality assurance testers, and more. Also aiming for a wall-to-wall deal. The 60-person unit of Blizzard QA testers in Texas and the Blizzard QA United CWA is formed simultaneously in Austin, Texas. So you have pretty united front there. They say they want to make good on the old mantra of Blizzard, which every voice matters. It's been a long time since that's felt true. They think this will help them do that. Bethesda did not give their alliance a cool name, and I'm a little disappointed.
I don't think the WoW team gave that. Like, what they were hurting for faction names over there in Blizzard Land. They couldn't think of a faction name to come up with. They didn't think that maybe Alliance could end up somewhere in the name, or Horde even. I mean, Horde maybe sounds a bit aggressive. We're gonna go to the bargaining table. We gotta deal with the Blizzard Horde right now. Maybe not go that way.
Yeah, the Blizzard Workers Horde.
Oh man, yeah. No, they went with Game Makers Guild, which is a little boring, but it's better than.
I think Guild is better than Alliance. There's a lot of Workers Alliance. It's kind of cringe. Like in the World of Warcraft, it's not cringe, but like.
Yeah, but when you're the WoW team, I feel like you get grandfathered in on getting a pass on that.
But you know what? If they called it Alliance, there would be those deranged people that are like, see, they favor
I
Alliance.
won't join it because it's Alliance. Yeah,
or they'll just criticize
it. If I was there, I'd be
all
like, can we call it the Horde, or I'm not going to join it.
Right, forget it.
I think Guild is pretty on the nose. Yeah.
But if they
call
here's
it
the thing,
the Horde, or I'm not joining your stupid union, I'll tell you that.
Maybe it would help us, because right now the feeling is that they're Horde biased, and this would swing it back to no, they're Alliance biased. Although their last 3 expansions have been very heavily Alliance focused.
Well, they keep trying to convince you that it's not, or that it is Alliance biased, and that somehow the Horde story always ends up being more interesting.
It's always more interesting. Always.
Although
Sorry,
I think
everybody,
I will say what I've seen of Dragonflight did a good job of eliminating the this is this faction, this is the like that just
Yeah,
felt
it's
like
over
a
now,
story.
Yeah,
Is it
well,
over now?
Yeah.
not quite. There's pre-patch story that links the two, but technically, yes. Like
The war is over.
the war
We're
for
now the Horions.
the
Yeah,
Horions.
the Horions.
The Lord.
The Lord. Just call it the Lord.
Or the
For
a
the
Lord.
Lord.
For the
Lord.
Lord. I like
A
that.
Lord.
Yeah, I like a Lord. A Lord.
Horions.
They the way things I'm still dusting up a few final quests because I did I'll talk about it later. I did get into the pre-patch stuff. But they're ready to it's torch passing time. And there's always that feeling of there's a little bit of story to pick up, a little bit of stuff going on. Hurry up and get anything you didn't want or that you didn't get before. Spend all your dumb currencies, all that stuff. And we're at that point. But it's an interesting bit of timing for them to drop this right now. You know, It's a big, important time for the WoW team. They're about to put out a major expansion with a bunch of really heavy expectations on it. And time?
I hope things are going smooth for everyone. But it's now how far are we in to the Microsoft ownership now?
Officially,
like 8 or 9 months, maybe.
When was it finalized? It was like June, I thought.
I just feel like it was late 2023 when we got word that Kotick was leaving.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
Yeah, but I don't think we're a year yet, but I'm not sure.
When did MS buy Activision? I don't remember the time. Have I just lost all sense of time?
Because like the acquisition itself took like many years.
October of last year it was finalized, but it didn't go through until early this year. But I just can't find
the effective date. Maybe type effective date. Like
I don't know. Effective date. Okay, let's just see if we can find it here. Acquisition. Here we go. They started the process in 2022, completed in 2023. 75.4 billion total. After all said and done, let's see.
Oh man, I put Blizzard sale effective date and Dairy Queen came up.
Why? Oh, Blizzard.
I want a Blizzard.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's right.
I wish I hadn't seen that.
Let's see, October 2023. So I guess
Let's
October.
Just call it January. No, like just to be on the safe side.
It looks like October's when it went through, and then January is when Kotick left.
Yeah, like whatever the turnover date is, like you sign the deal, and when the keys get passed, and the other party says goodbye. I don't know what the effective date was. That probably didn't make the press. It's probably too behind the scenes technical for anyone. Just with the passing knowledge, you just need to know the sale was made. But there's probably an effective date on the paperwork, right? When the keys get passed over, so I'm guessing, let's say January, maybe it's 8 months, 7 months.
Here's what it says. Companies agreed to extend the close of the acquisition until October 18th, 2023 to resolve the CMA issue. Following the approval of the revised terms on October 13th, Microsoft completed the acquisition that same day. So the 13th of October, this was a done deal.
Okay.
I thought there was more time, but I've lost track of all time.
So close to a year. You just wonder, like, obviously it's a really big ship, and you know what they say about steering the big ship. It's like go farther, but take longer to change directions, right?
Yeah.
And so we're probably still seeing all those gears and changes take place that push it forward into a new direction.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like one of them, right? Like it's been set, let's just say January, or let's say October. It's been 9 months since that time. And I think this news about the union being okay, I think we knew earlier, just hadn't heard any progress or anything. So, it might just be when the bureaucracy of it all finally wrapped up, they've got it in place now,
I like his answer to the question, why did you do this? He said, we want to both improve our working conditions and protect the things we love about Blizzard already. Also, we can feel secure, or rather also that we can feel secure in pouring our talents and passion into making World of Warcraft. Sure, go for it. Do it. Make it.
That's a PR answer. From what I understand informally is that they live in a very expensive neighborhood and get paid well below the industry standards. It seems to be the common thing that I hear. So
and they all got told they had to come back to work.
Yeah, they all have to go back to the
told
office.
They weren't going to have to.
It's to ensure fair treatment and that they're paid an appropriate wage for what that's commensurate with people in their industry is probably
Yeah.
Seems like the truth. I don't know about that answer, but sure.
Feels like the truth to me, but I think both things can be true, but they're obviously, they got to put their best foot forward, and they're trying to.
It's just a bit of PR speak, probably. Like I'm guessing. I don't.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But anyway, it's a significant milestone. I mean, the last time they had anything legal, major legal happen with the company, it was the sexual harassment suit that the state of California had against them, which I don't know how.
We're in a new era, and a book about that old era is coming out. Jason Schreier's Blizzard book coming out in a couple months, so we're gonna maybe find out some interesting tidbits.
I'm very curious about that. I know of at least 3 people I could tell you who were asked to do quotes for that book and declined. So I don't know if he got that a lot. The people I know of are kind of principal people, so maybe down the ladder you get more people talking, but. Yeah, I don't think he had a lot of luck.
It could be a nothing burger, or it could be, I mean, it's funny it takes so long for that book to come out, because it would have sold a lot more had it come out during the height of all the controversies and stuff. Like, so I don't know if there's any gas to it, or if it's just a story about stuff that we already kind of know anyways.
Right.
So we'll see about that. But it is a new era. There's a tabula rasa effect, maybe, with Microsoft being in place and some staffing changes going around. So, I think a lot of people are seeming to want to give them the benefit of the doubt in the new era, even though, as ever, there's lots of complaints about their various products and services, like Overwatch skins and the quality of various, which version of WoW is getting the most love at any given moment, right?
That's why they keep sending John surveys. They just learn, like, what's going on over there, John?
I get another survey. They're in the know because of me.
Yeah.
I mean somebody, not me, because those surveys are anonymous. It's somebody else that's filling them.
Yeah, it's not you. I don't know who's doing it. Somebody else could be doing it. By the way, breaking news. Bo earlier in the show, like pre-show, sent us some music that he worked on. And I didn't realize there was some metadata in that file of yours. So I'd like to share just a quick thing with everybody. This is just a great image. This was the metadata. Check out Bo. What year is this, Bo? What do we got here? What are we looking at?
Yeah. That's like...
You're like an angel. Look at your wings and stuff.
Yeah, look at his wings.
That was like 200 pounds ago.
Oh, that's the time.
No,
if
not
that's
200 pounds, but look at that handsome man.
Look at you with the hair and you got some red eye thing going on. That's interesting.
Yeah,
that was not taken with a digital camera. That was taken with a camera and scanned in after. It's probably 20 or more years ago.
Oh my,
for sure.
All right, yeah. You're a handsome young man. Look at you.
Yeah, I was a pretty good looking guy in my 20s. I didn't suffer I was very insecure, but if I could open up a portal and go back to my 20-year-old self, I'd be like, hey man, be an asshole. Stop being insecure.
No, I was wrong about everything growing up. I had the worst image of myself. I had terribles, all that. I look at pictures now and I'm like, that's a good looking kid in the late 80s, early 90s. Go back and tell him to knock it off. Quit being such a puss.
Yeah. Oh my God. I look at my old images and I'm like, damn, I know.
It's
why
annoying.
Was I so depressed and down and stuck in my head all the time? But you never know what's really going on inside with people. And that's,
they might have a little, they might have a worm. You don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you don't know.
They might be housing a future illithid.
They could. And then what would you do then? Well, I'll tell you what you'd do.
Run for president.
That's right. You'd run for president, and you'd talk about these games we played. That's amazing transition there.
That was good music.
Yeah, it was all right. I don't remember what it's from, but I'm mixing things up a little bit. Hey, let's talk about our shared play this week. A couple of us cracked open the No Man's Sky after the big update. Bo, did you play, or just me and John? I remember if you
were. I know I only managed to get an hour in. I've had my head in other stuff that we'll get to. I haven't. Also, just before you guys get into it, I'm a little bit like, well, it's Worlds Part 1. Why don't I wait for Part 2 to come out before I play?
I mean, that's a really good. It's a fine
point. There's
point.
nothing wrong with that. I think that's fine. I think that's a fair reaction, Bo.
Why would I blow all my time on it when only half the great update is out?
Yeah,
that's all I want to say.
I don't think that's crazy to say that. Let me turn that off.
But it's a hell of a half update.
Yeah, it's a hell of a half up-a-date.
Up-a-date.
It's I'll tell you what really frustrated me. Okay, so first of all, they've really improved the way this game looks and transitions, and going from space to a planet is a very different. Oh, look at this in a grand ass.
Sorry to interrupt. Did we say the name of the game for the people who
No
need
Man's
us to say
Sky.
it?
Although we may have
Sky.
said No Mansky.
Yeah, we meant
by now people should be able to understand our fake titles for real games.
I did it 1 week as a meme thing for the show, and then it got rave reviews. Setting a timer.
Sure.
So I'm gonna set it to 7 minutes.
All right, no, that works. That's good. My brother-in-law will love this. It's to me it's like everything you could think of as an improvement. The water looks amazing. The planetary stuff looks amazing. Transition to planets from space looks amazing. Like, it mostly is a graphical update. I know there's other stuff going on, but for the most part, it's that you can land on water. So these overtly water planets used to be so frustrating. And now you can land. You don't have to go find a little what do you call it? You just land.
What's going on?
I don't know why that played.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened
Scott
there.
pulled up somebody else's clip who had a World of Warships ad in the middle of their video.
Yeah, I don't know what happened
This
there.
is what happens when Scott sources his video content for the show from generic
randos.
YouTube videos.
Yeah, when I'm looking for randos, usually they'll say no commentary or whatever, but this one has an ad for World of Warships. But anyway, it's cool, man. Like, the just sheer variety of stuff now, and I know this was already in the game or partially in the game, but the space stations all looking so radically different is very cool. I feel like I'm truly in a new place when I go to a new one. The planets so far that I have been exploring have been wildly different. I know, John, last week you said that maybe the first planet you hit wasn't that big a deal, but it got better. I'm seeing crazy stuff kind of right off the bat, and already found planets I want to move to and like get some portals on. And all that
I haven't
stuff.
made it off my paradise planet yet.
Oh, you're still there. You found the good one.
I'm still there. Well, I was gonna take off because my son was in my room, and I was like, "Hey, you want to see Daddy take off and fly into space?"
Yeah.
And I went and I hit the thruster button, and it's like out of launch fuel, and I was like, "Okay, well, Dad's gonna do it, but he's got to go get some launch fuel first." And by the time I had it and refueled the ship, I was like, "All right, you ready to see Dad take off into space?" And he goes, "No."
He doesn't want to see it.
He has zero interest in
care.
it, so I am still on the paradise planet.
I understand completely, but like, look at this water. This same water, when the storms kick up, the water gets crazy. It blows the way the wind is blowing. If a ship hovers over it like we're seeing here, it creates paths in the water. Like, I can't say enough about how this looks and how much better it looks. I thought it would ding performance on Steam Deck. It doesn't. It runs just as well as it did before. So that's a good bit of news. And overall, it's awesome. You get lost in it. I spent hours and hours in here the other night, just like, oh, what am I doing? I wasn't even doing anything important. A couple of quest things, but for the most part, it was just like...
It all comes down to minerals.
Yeah, kind of at the end of the day. You just want to say, ooh, what's this thing? Oh, it exploded and tried to kill me. Okay, cool. Oh, I forgot capes. I still haven't put a cape on. I got to do that. Anyway, game's rad. Huge improvement.
Yeah.
John, do you agree? What do you think?
I agree. I concur.
Yeah. There's a lot more to
I
do,
concur.
but
Yeah.
we're going to have to play more to figure it out. Will it, completely overhaul the way you play this game? No. But it will make
it's still No Man's Sky, but if you enjoyed it a little bit, you might enjoy it a lot a bit now.
Yeah, I think so too. I also think they improved something with the shooting and the reticule stuff. That felt better.
Yeah, that was a couple up. I feel like every update they feel like, hey, our shooting is better. So, it's been a couple updates for me. And I think, like, if you've ignored a couple updates, you're probably going to get in and go, wow, this is wildly different.
Yeah.
If you've been on every update, I think you'll see differences. But, they haven't radically changed. They have radically changed it, but it's still the same game, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree.
Oh, it's a good time, now that you mention it, to say which game it is we're talking about.
Oh, the
That would be
game...
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No
or
Man's
Man's
Sky.
Ski.
Some people say No Man's Ski. Some people say No Man's Ski. Emphasize it however you want, but it's spelled like No Man's Sky with an apostrophe after the M or the N in man. All right, so that's it for that. We've talked about it. No Man's Sky. Check it out. Available now. And also, they're selling really well. They've had.
Yeah, it's like way up there on the Steam charts in terms of play and sales. Like this got a lot of people in.
Yeah, way more than I think maybe people were, I don't know, expecting or something. It really popped. I mean, the price cut was nice, but they've had these before. This time it really stuck. So well done to them. We also played, John and I, Final Fantasy XIV. Now that's an XIV for those at home wondering. Well, you got to search.
Sounds a lot like Final Fantasy Fortnite, but it's 14.
It's
14.
The ending syllable's different.
Correct. And it is a good time continually. I don't have much to say except a quick progress check. John was right. Anytime that weird little witch lady that it feels like her model's from a different game. I don't know why. She just doesn't belong in there somehow.
Well, she's not using a generic character model. They made like an old woman.
Yeah.
And you're so used to them just like putting a couple wrinkles on the like super athletic texture and going, they're old. That like when an actual old woman shows up, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, she is. She definitely fits the part that she's trying to fit. But I did a dungeon with her. It was part of the story where I had to fight a bunch of dolls, and that was weird. That was like Resident Evil levels of strange. But I really had a good time with it. I'm tanking better than ever. Having a great time. Oh, I unlocked a new mount with some story stuff. So I got this awesome new dragon mount thing that's based on the tiny father dragon. That's like the dad to Nidhogg and all of them. It's a very
tiny father.
Yeah, a little bitty father dragon. For some reason, he's tiny and his sons are all these monstrous creatures. But anyway, he's a mount now, so that's fun.
You're getting very close to what would be the end of Heaven's Ward then.
Yeah.
You're really close.
I think I'm in Heaven's
you're about
Word.
halfway through the patch content because the first half is ending Heaven's Ward.
Okay.
Because you've probably got a pretty good idea of who you're fighting at the end of this.
I do.
This section.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big mystery.
No.
You got to stop Nidhogg.
Yeah.
And then the other 3 patches that are going to follow are setting up Stormblood. So you're almost done.
Okay.
You're almost done with
with
Heaven's Ward.
Post patch Heaven's Word is coming to a close pretty quickly here. Having a ball, it's great, love it, no complaints. Did you guys play? Oh, John, what'd you do? You played a bunch.
I'm raiding and I'm loving it. Like a lot of people, like for whatever reason, this expansion in particular has gotten at least a vocal minority of people on the forums really upset about how difficult the dungeons and raids are this go around.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is maybe some of the best dungeons and raids they've ever done. Like it's really good. The raids in particular are so fun. Absolutely so much fun. And I think one of the things that has been kind of nice to see is when I talked to you, and we actually talked a little bit about this, Scott, was I told you, raiding and big fights in Final Fantasy, very dancey.
Mm-hmm.
Like learn the moves and you don't get hit.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a fun focus, if I'm to be honest. I really like it's this don't stand in the shit game. To a new level, right?
Yeah.
It's fun to not stand in the shit.
While keeping up a rotation at the
Right.
same time somehow.
Right.
This new raid is still that, but they have found a way to incorporate a little more of what you experience in like World of Warcraft raiding, where it's not about, oh, you have to be here. You have to be here. A little more freedom to go, I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to path this way. And not to a degree where it loses the core of what it is, but it just has put a little more free form in it. Like I was trying to get a pet from a raid once, and I ran that raid so many times that I didn't have to look at the boss anymore.
Ooh.
I just was like, okay, stand here, stand here. Stand here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do have to look here. Okay, it's this. I don't have to look for the next couple minutes. Like I could have almost done it blindfolded because it's so locked in on memorizing the rotation and the dance and all of that. And then this has a little more of the kind of chaos that you get from World of Warcraft fights without needing like add-ons to tell you run away, little girl, every 10 seconds because you're standing in something.
Yeah.
But like there's one fight where all of a sudden little hearts just start shooting out of a boss kind of randomly, and you have to find your own path and continue to dodge mechanics while avoiding it. And as simple of a thing as that is, it has thrown a lot of people. People are like, what? I have to dodge things while I'm also playing this game?
Yeah.
Impossible. People have been weirdly upset about it, but I absolutely have loved these fights. I think all 4 fights were really solid. I adore the song on the final fight. I know everybody probably wants to know my thoughts on the annoying anime-ish honeybee fight, but that song's fine. I'm fine with them occasionally doing the most J-pop anime sounding fight music you've ever heard about being somebody's little honeybee. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the final song was really, really good. And I just absolutely loved this raid. So continuing to enjoy it. I'm getting my loot. I don't know if we've ever talked about how loot works in Final Fantasy, but like, so the current raid tier is 4 fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's not trash or anything like that. You just go in and you fight the boss. And the bosses drop tokens. The tokens can be exchanged. Certain pieces of armor require more tokens. So if you want the chest piece, you need 4 tokens. If you want the leggings, you need 4 tokens. If you want the head, gloves, or boots, you need 2 tokens. If you want the accessories like earrings, wrist, or rings, those require 1. And you can only get loot once per fight per week.
Oh.
So you can run it as many times as you want,
right,
but you can only get loot once per boss per week.
And nothing else? Like you get some gold or gil or something for running or nothing?
No, you get gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so I was able to get some, I think I got an accessory and I got my leggings. And I think next week I'll be able to finish my chest piece, my head piece, and an accessory. So it kind of is this weird thing where in weeks, like when you get to a new week, based on how you've planned and how you've rolled and all of that, you can go, oh, well, I can count that I'm going to get these gear upgrades on this day, which is kind of a nice way to plan it. And without having to feel like, oh, I just have to constantly run it over and over and over and over again.
Right.
So it's fun. It's really fun.
That's great. I think the projecting, I wish WoW did this more. They are starting to do more of this. In fact, I noticed in this pre-patch content, there's a few fights with just regular mobs where they're projecting more. So I know that the cone is going to happen and where to watch out. Or I know that there are these circles on the ground mean something's going to blow up there. Get out of those. Like they're just getting better at that over there. And I feel like it's because these guys are really good at that. And maybe, just maybe, this is seen as kind of baby raiding. I've heard people say this before. It's like, well, yeah, if you know what the circle looks like, you just get out of it. That's boring. I'm with John. I think this shit is fun. It's fun. It's a dance. You got to remember your thing. And you're going to screw up just like you do in WoW raiding, but you're not going to be so damn confused about it until you've run it 20 times or whatever.
Yeah,
also,
I mean...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Bo.
Oh, no, it also depends, like, on your... It's not always what you're looking for. I guess we've like had a bit of like the core guild and SOD has had a bit of the reverse. Like the developers are trying so hard to make interesting raid bosses that they're annoying. The level of mechanics are just like border or have crossed over, particularly Sunken Temple, into annoying.
Yeah.
Like you just want to kill a big boss. Not every one of them has to have like complex set of mechanics that require like tank swap, too many stacks, blah 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 blah. So like, just even the notion that everything needs to be like maximum difficult for it to be worth your time is so silly.
Yeah, I agree. I want to just get in and have a good time. So the nice thing about, I mean, as much as it's fun to tease John. You know, back in the WoW days, he would hide from the trash because he hated it so much. But even the trash that's in dungeons in this game, I did one last night where it doesn't feel egregious. It just feels I don't know. It's like the pacing's better. I can't explain it. It doesn't feel like filler. It's like I know, and oftentimes I can see, well, I've got to do this one guy, this little group of dudes, and then I'm at the first boss. And then after that, it's maybe another one of those, and then the next boss, and then one more plus a little story, and then the final thing. And I just feel like I'm getting there quicker. It doesn't feel unsubstantial. It just doesn't feel like it has to be filled out with stuff that's extra, and you don't have to think, well, what are the sneak around ways to avoid half the trash? Just don't give me so much trash. You know, like less trash. Like, let's go, let's get in.
Yeah, it's so nice. And even the alliance raids, which I don't think you've done any alliance raids yet, where it is a little more traditional, where you have trash between bosses. It's like, here's a pack of trash between bosses, here's 2 packs of trash, and they have an interesting mechanic, or here's a mini boss between the bosses. Like, they still keep it real watered down, and I appreciate it. There's never a time where I'm like, ugh, this is just too much. And it's good. It feels nice. Feels nice to enjoy raiding in an MMO.
Yeah.
But that's my style. That's my preferences. So there are things I like about WoW raiding, and that's why I think these raids felt a little cooler, that it has a little more of that improvisation added to it, but not too much, because I don't want to go back to, well, I moved because the add-on told me to move.
Yeah.
Like, I just hate that. It's so boring. I hate it so much.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff either. Chat, Omega Guy in the chat is talking about how this particular game, the cutscenes are very drawn out. It's all very, everything's got a big story thing packed at the end. Sometimes your raid mates and or dungeon mates are waiting for you to see a thing for the first time, and they're all very nice about it. But you're right. It's a different thing. It's not bim, bam, boom, get in, get out. And I think that's why that community is more patient, because they're already more patient with the content. I can't quite put my finger on it.
I mean, maybe, yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also just Eastern versus Western game development too. Because like I'm playing Zenless, and it's just like, oh my god, you guys could definitely cut down these dialogues by 50%. Like, it's just so much time. Like, I don't love skipping dialogue, and even I'm like, all right, time to skip. Like, it's just circumlocucious, like just too many words.
Yeah.
And some people like that. That's the thing. Yeah. But I'm even my limited time playing Final Fantasy, it was a lot of blah 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 blah. Like in World of Warcraft, you can just look at the quest text and just skip it or with the AI reader, I could press accept and it could rattle off while I don't have loss of control of my character. I'm playing.
Yeah.
I'm still playing, so I get to hear the content and still playing, and I think it's a legit complaint if you don't like it, but it's like a super common feature of like Eastern JRPGs.
I do like the summary. So they do this, and it's not that they don't have summaries. It's just that you have to sometimes sit through a little thing or skip a thing to see the summary. But the summary in Final Fantasy will still show up on the quest card. It's like, here's a big long description of what you're doing, and then here's a little, go find 5 of these and bring them back to Bill. And I appreciate having those. And in WoW, I like with non-consequential stuff to just go, what's the summary? I don't need the book. Final Fantasy sometimes gets a little wrapped up in giving me the book and the summry, but in that order.
I'll give you both.
Yeah, but once you kind of
I think both are fine. Like, I don't talk about Final Fantasy going, oh man, everybody needs to play this. Like, I played a lot of WoW, and I complained about a lot of WoW, not realizing I was asking for Final Fantasy. But I realized that I'm asking for a very different video game. And when I go back to WoW, it's funny because when I first started playing Final Fantasy, I was like, geez, they just want to talk. Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just hearing people chat. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. And then I played it, and I fell in love with the game and all that. And then I went back to World of Warcraft, and I went, jeez, all they want me to do is kill. Heaven forbid you explain why I gotta kill anything. Just go kill something, because Jesus, it's been 10 minutes since you killed something. Go kill something.
Yeah.
And like, so you just kind of like, you have to take it for what it is. And when I play World of Warcraft, I'm in the mood for World of Warcraft, and it's a very different mood than I'm in when I play Final Fantasy XIV. They're different games. Like, I think that's been the biggest thing that's been the hardest, is like so many people jumped ship or tried to jump ship from WoW to Final Fantasy because they're so similar. Seemingly, because Final Fantasy is very mechanically in terms of how easy it is to just start playing a new MMO and hit the ground running to WoW. But in terms of how they're designed and how they play and their approach to storytelling and all of that, couldn't be more different. And I think people are going to find, like, there's some people that are going to vastly prefer one way over the other. And there's going to be people like, I think I've eventually landed somewhere in the middle where it's like, no, I love going back and like WoW plays better than any other MMO I've ever played from a gameplay perspective. Like,
Oh, no
it's
question.
tight.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is fantastic. And when I want to just get on my rogue and feel like I'm doing cool shit on a rogue, WoW is the place to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy is where I go for everything else. Like, I have my place for both of them, and I know what I'm getting into when I play both. So I don't want Final Fantasy to stop telling its long, crazy stories, and I don't want WoW to turn into Final Fantasy. I think they both need to exist in their space and for their audience.
And they both chip at each other for ideas, like all these MMOs do, and that's okay too. Like, WoW's flying model is awesome right now. I love skywriting, they call it now. It's no longer called dragon riding. It's just skywriting. Anyway, skywriting is really cool, but they essentially lifted it from Guild Wars. It's very similar to the way their mounts work in that game. And in the case of Final Fantasy, like including some slightly more RNG mechanics into their rating and amping up the difficulty is definitely them borrowing a little bit from WoW's harder core rating community. So I think that's an okay thing. I think all these guys, ESO does it too. They all kind of pick a little thing, take it over here and try that a little bit, see what they think of that. And, players will either embrace it or they won't, but I'm okay with it. You know what's funny though? I'm now subbing to WoW and Final Fantasy at the same time.
Yeah.
Usually I have a big rule against doing that because it seems stupid.
I think I technically am right now too.
Yeah, I think you probably are. Here's what's funny though with that. With all my culling of my subscriptions that I did last month, or I guess earlier this month, where I went and canceled, I had 2 instances of whatever the hell it was, Paramount Plus or something I was paying for. I was like, what am I even doing? So I went and canceled all this stuff, and I have a running spreadsheet now showing all my subs. I'm adding World of Warcraft back in and keeping my Final Fantasy sub. I'm still something like $35 up on the deal every month. So
hey, look at that.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I don't feel bad at all about doing it. A, B, I'm playing one exclusively on a PC because that's where WoW plays, and I'm not jumping through these weird hoops you got to do to make that thing work well on a Steam Deck, because you have to install a ton of weird add-ons. You have to do some stuff in the Linux side of things to even make it work at all. It's a little it's funky. It's not a great way to play that game. And and that's the other thing. They do a patch. It almost always breaks the mod you need to make the controller work, and so you have to go back and fight that fight. I'm not doing that. Play that on a PC, and when I'm in bed, I'm like, what works great on my Steam Deck? Effing Final Fantasy XIV, baby. So I fire that up, and it's all working out good. I like it. Anyway, we're going to talk more about World of Warcraft in a second. But before we do, Elden Ring. Did you guys play?
I didn't know if Bo played or not. I did.
Did you, Bo?
I played some, but it was earlier in the week.
Are you weaning from it? Are you feeling burnt? Are you where are you at with it?
Yeah, I've been a little just grouchy with games, and I realize what's happening is I've been playing open world games, and I'm kind of sick of it. Like, I'm kind of, I'm not a big fan of them. Elden Ring's open world, and I kind of got a gripe with the expansion. There's a whole lot of nothing in the cool world, like the end journey, like the journey through those places is awesome. Like the environments are cool. Like it's still the same enjoyment level. But like the base game, because I'm playing both of them back to back. I probably said this last week, but it's really curdled into a complaint. Is the base game, you can look around everywhere and just get into trouble stuff, find things, explore, chart. I would have this methodology where I'm charting because you never know where I might overlook something, and often you're rewarded, so it doesn't feel like time wasted. there's very little of that I find in in the expansion content. Like it's, so I think mostly I'm just soured a little bit. That's why I don't like open world, because I'm like charting all this terrain. Like I think I have some kind of OCD or something like that, where it pains me to like not have looked everywhere before moving on to a new zone. I like clear things out.
Mm.
So I just got a little.
Funny. I had a like just to kind of go off that point because I think it's a good one. I agree with you. I had a very similar week in Elden Ring, although I'm very much more positive about the overall experience. But I ran into some problems with Elden Ring this week, and it's going to tie into what Bo specifically was talking about, because I got pulled back in. I don't even know what made me boot it up because I was like, I'm playing other games right now. But I got back in, and then I got back in for a long time. Like it got its talons in me again, in the DLC and all of that, and it really held me. But is it called the Black Citadel? Is that what it's called? The big castle
In the like low ground where the
yeah, like where you fight Mesmer. Have you fought Mesmer?
Oh no, sorry. I that's where I'm at right now. I gave
Okay.
him a few attempts, but it was 4 a.m, and that's the last I played. I'm like, I'm going to bed, guys. I'm streaming.
So that place, I think it's called the Black Citadel. That whole
Yeah, I
area.
think so. Black Keep, Black Citadel, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I stumbled upon it in a weird direction, apparently. I don't know how, but I apparently did not go through the front door.
Oh, I know the door. I found both doors. So it's the side door, the horsey door. Like you go through the long.
I went in through a flooded church area. I did a lot of jumping up buildings. I dropped in through roofs. And I did a lot of side exploring. And this wouldn't normally be a problem, but in the DLC, it did create quite a few problems for me. So one of the key problems that this caused is the first boss I fought there was Mesmer, who is generally, I think you would probably consider the final boss of the area. He's the first one I found. I found it by creative jumping over and off of things, and I just wound my way up, and next thing I know, I'm fighting Mesmer. We'll get to him in a minute, because I want to talk about him.
All right.
You've got to stay after class, let's see.
But the problem this caused is that then I had now beaten the final boss of an area that I had done almost no exploration of. And normally that's fine in an open world game, and normally that's even fine in Elden Ring. In this case, it kind of broke the game. I got to there's a golden hippo boss. I stumbled upon him. I wasn't ready for him. He murdered me very quickly.
Man.
He's at the front of the Black Keep, right?
Yeah, he's like the first thing you would see going in if you went in the proper way.
Yeah.
I did not go in the proper way. And so I go back to get my body, and I was shocked at how long of a run it was. I was like, "Oh, really? I got to go all this way?" Because it was like going down a whole bunch of stairs, fighting a ton of guys. I was like, "Ugh, what a pain in the ass this is." So I do all of that, and I get to the golden door where you go through to fight a boss again, and I can't go through it. And I went, why can't I go through this golden door? And it wouldn't let me. So I was like, well, let me go around, because it looks like there's another set of stairs that leads to another, and it does. Like my cartography was spot on. I can't open that door. It won't let me open it, even though that is actually the way that you have to open that door. To open that door, it's opening a shortcut. Wouldn't let me open the door. So I couldn't get back to my soul. So I'm running around, exploring this place, trying to get back to fight the first boss after beating the final boss. And I can't figure out how to do it. I had to go look it up.
Oh, shit.
And basically they were like, yeah, you have to go in the front. I watched a YouTube video that was like, such a bad YouTube video, because it was a guy who was like, hi, thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. I want to talk about Elden Ring. And basically, I really like this game. This game's good. And there's a thing that you might encounter where you go to the Black Keep. You might not be able to
And-
go through the golden door.
Yeah,
And
shit on the
so
guy that helped
what
you,
I,
though.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell you how to get through the door if you're encountering this error. This is what it looks like. See, I can't get through the door. You go in the front.
Oh.
I was like, why did I have to watch this insane preamble for you to just say go in the front?
I hate
It was
videos
so,
like that.
so long. It's such a long build up to just go the other way. I did that, but it's an extremely vertical dungeon, and I've explored the middle and the top, and now I'm kind of at the bottom. And
Yeah.
I could not figure out where to go, and I got super lost, and I was like, am I done with the Black Keep? Did I do everything here? It doesn't look like it. So I started doing what Bo said he's been doing, which is looking for places in the map that seem very open. There's nothing on it, and go there and see if there's something to do. And like Bo, I started realizing like there are huge sections of this map that have nothing going on in it.
Yeah.
There's enemies to fight, but there's no shrines to, sit at. There's no
There's just nothing.
real
like,
bosses. There's no caves. There's no points of interest. And as a result, the map looked like, oh, I'm missing a ton of this stuff. And then I'd go through and go, oh wait, no, I've been here. There's just nothing here. And so I completely agree with what Bo's saying. Like, they don't make the best use of the space. It's beautiful, but they don't, like, there's a ton of resting spots in like the Black Keep, which you do want, but out in the world, it's like just this vast space and nothing there. And it was a little disheartening to kind of find my way. But I did eventually find my way.
Yeah,
and
it's just not as rewarding. Like the way I would play the base game was like I'd take an area, I'd in my mind cordon it off, and I'd find all the entrances and points of interest and mark them, then go back and do them. Learning that the game, one of those points of interest could be this whole really long tangent. So like choosing those things, and there's just like none of it. But so I'm still charting territory. There's a area that I've discovered that's very low, like below, like to sea level or whatever this verticality is. It's way on the bottom, where the torrent, your horse friend, is too scared to help you. And I don't want to spoil too much, but it's this thing, and there's some one-shotters enemies around. And it's still an open ass space that you got to. There's a way to kill the one shotters, but it's pretty much you got a solid snake around. So not only I wasn't able to use torrent to look around, but now I've got to do it crouching and hiding, and I got massively annoyed by it. Like it was like, this could be a level, but I don't need a big wide open space that you're demanding I sneak around in. That has virtually nothing of interest. Like all these like little rock places you can climb up and near trees and stuff. Like I think about the base game and I'm like, there's always like a little pickup or not even a single skibbity nugget, nothing. Like just a whole pile of nothing. But you don't want to not look around because obviously there's an end game, right? There's a dungeon, a smaller dungeon, but there's a boss in a dungeon and a thing to do at the end of this big area. So you do have to look for it. But yeah, so I don't know. Like reviewing the game, it just seems like I guess everyone just runs through it like as fast as possible. I don't know.
All right, so did
I
that?
I haven't gotten to that yet, so that'll be interesting.
That sounds like the kind
it's
of
a cool
thing,
zone. Like
you wouldn't call that rage. I mean, you're not rage quitting the game or anything. You're just like,
I'm just a little like burnt out. It's sort of like it ties into like my field with World of Warcraft because like that's a big part of why I haven't been able to log in to play some SOD is just I don't feel like flight pathing around and walking around and doing quests and doing like I love all that stuff, but I'm just like I've done too much of this.
Yeah.
I'm like I need like a corridor, I need like puzzle, I need to build something, I need simulators. Like I've had too much of the same type of food, and I wasn't able to really articulate that last week, but like that's what's going on. I have limited patience for open worlds.
Yeah. No, I think I totally understand it. And I've gone through that many times. Right now I'm kind of getting an itch for it again, but I'm sure I'll hit some some end of this, and I'll go, okay, that's enough. Like,
yeah, it's not like oh, I hate this and we'll never play it, but let's like, that's why it's kind of always hard when like you play an Assassin's Creed and then another one comes out and you're like, great, I'm just gonna walk through a bunch of forests again. Awesome,
gotta assassinate
so cool.
people again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk through a city for the 500th time. Oh my god, so awesome.
Yeah, you're right. I think that's probably. I think probably more people go through that than.
I think the context a little bit too when we discuss it. It's like collectively we probably have a lot of years between us. I'm not gonna say your years, but I'm just like, oh, I've been gaming for like 40 years. Like, I think it's fine to be like, yeah, I understand what's going on here, and it's not interesting anymore. Like, I've done it. It'll be interesting to a new generation that hasn't gamed as much. Like, we're not. There's a rolling demographic, and people are always new to things. But for me, sometimes like exploring the 5,000th forest and grassy field needs to like be a little more interesting. Than what I've already done 100 times. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's stuff like that. And it's just like,
because
However, to put a more positive button on the Elden Ring talk, I want to talk about Mesmer.
Oh, Mesmer.
He is such a fun freaking boss. Like, I gotta say, like, as much trouble as I had trying to figure out my way through this place because I came in incorrectly and got all turned around and didn't know where I was supposed to go. The fight with Mesmer was one of my favorite fights in this type of game that I've had. Like, I really liked it. And it was not the fight that I've had the hardest time with, weirdly enough. Bo, did you fight the Skadu tree avatar?
What is it? I think
Skibbity tree avatar. I think you're supposed to say shadow.
The tree avatars are the tree guys that with a big stick that shoot laser lights at you and stuff, right?
This looks like a giant sunflower that wants to murder you.
I don't know if I fought that. It doesn't sound familiar.
So that one, it's so funny because I was curious after I beat it. I was like, this was the worst fight I've had. I went and looked it up, and a lot of people are like, super easy, no big deal. And I was like, I had such a hard damn time with this fight. Like, environmentally hitboxy, there's like times where the boss is invincible, and it certainly doesn't feel like it should be. You have to beat the boss. I won't spoil it. But anyway, like, I didn't like that fight. Mesmer, on the other hand, I loved this fight, even though it was very tough. My favorite detail about fighting him is that he is immediately on the attack. So, I have a habit. I have my style of playing. I go into a boss room and I go, can I pull out my Mimic Tier? Yes or no? And then I decide whether or not I'm going to pull out the Mimic Tier.
Right.
This, you really don't have time. He's coming at you basically the second the thing
like
starts.
All the expansion bosses, they're on crack. They're like, you know how to make this hard? Let's just hit them the second they walk through the door.
And I knew that he was like kind of a benchmark boss, and I was like, okay, let's see if I can do this without the Mimic Tier. He clearly doesn't want me to use it anyway. Let me see if I can just fight him mano a mano. Let's see how this goes. And I did the fight the hard way, and learning this fight was just a lot of fun. I don't know how to properly articulate like what makes it so much fun, because like there are plenty of fights you can just go, well, I want to learn this fight and I'll figure it out. But there was just something about this particular fight that I was like, I'm having a good time learning this. Now, as much as I would like to tell you that I beat this fight without the Mimic Tier, I can't.
Yeah.
I do have to own up, because there's a phase transition when he gets to about half health, and I kept dying immediately following the phase transition, and I was getting really pissed because it's like I got to go through all this fighting him again just to get up. I can't learn the new mechanics. Like, I already know how to beat phase 1, but I'm not learning anything in phase 2 because I can't see it because I'm not living long enough to see it. So I started using the Mimic tier to try and get through phase 1 quicker. So that I could at least see phase 2 more frequently. And I think it was the second time I saw phase 2. He killed my Mimic tier almost immediately, but I did summon it. I did beat him. The second phase is even cooler. I really, really like it. This fight was super cool.
Where is a snake? Where do his snakes come out of? Are they on his back? Where are they? Where? What's going on there with Mesmer? It's this guy, right? That I'm showing right now.
Yeah. This is the fight.
He's got snakes. Those snakes seem to be.
He probably is a snake and transforms back and forth from a snake.
Okay.
There's a hole. The snake probably comes out of it.
That's a good point.
They don't really explain that much of what's going on in this game.
I'm pretty sure it definitely comes out of his eye.
Oh, well, he just
he's about to dig into his eye. He pulls something out of his eyeball there.
Yeah, that looks hard. I don't know how people beat this dude. Oh, there's his eye.
It's fun. I had a really, like I said, I had a really good time. There's been a couple times in this, in the DLC where I've gone, you know what, I'm going to spend the extra time and try to actually, learn this fight and really have a long drawn out fight instead of just like, let me just see if I can roll through it real quick. And this was a really fun one to do that on. So Mesmer, probably my favorite boss of the DLC so far. Certainly falls in line with his siblings in terms of gameplay experiences. So good on you, Mesmer.
He's
holding up the family line.
Yeah, keeping up the family crest for everybody else. Is he what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. How many attempts did you make, if you had to guess, before you beat him?
I don't know. I know how many post phase change. It was probably within 5 because I think I had 3 where I died immediately to the attack he does when he transitions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, screw this, I need to get to this quicker. I summoned the Mimic here and I died on the first time, and then the second time is when I got him. The time before that, I don't know. I took a while trying to figure out. I thought his second form was easier to dodge. I thought the snakes telegraphed better than he did. So I actually think his second phase is a lot easier. But yeah, I think I probably died 20 or so times, maybe more than that.
Man,
there's a lot.
Character design in this game is crazy, dude. Crazy. They needed to, what needs to happen? The guys over there at From need to get with somebody over at Ubisoft and make a big open world game that's not so damn hard, but has all that amazing art. I would play the shit out of
but
that.
The heart is part of the fun.
I know it's part of it. I understand, and I appreciate it and respect it. But it's hard for me to commit to sometimes.
Remember, John didn't summon his Mimic tier.
So that's true. But yes, that's the way that game creates easier moments. I understand, but I don't know. I just kind of want the look of this in a more traditional thing, or an MMO or something with these kind of character designs. Holy shit, dude.
It did, again, I don't want to go into the full elitist thing because I think they put this shit in the game for a reason. You're absolutely supposed to use it. I think when people talk about, I did this fight without a Mimic tier, I did this fight without using summons, I did this fight, with a starter club that I haven't upgraded. I think we should celebrate that in the same breath that we celebrate somebody who's I beat Mario with a piano. It should just be oh, cool, I'm going to recognize the accolades. I think people get really weird and insecure about the difficulty with Elden Ring. You start to suggest that the game is fairly beatable using the tools at your disposal, and people all of a sudden have to get precious about it. No, it's going to take away from my accomplishment. And really, I think what we should do is just oh, you did it without summoning? That's awesome. That's cool. I think you should just recognize it and move on. That said, doing this fight without the mimic tier made me go, maybe I should do a no summons run of Elden Ring at some point. It felt really good to do.
Yeah.
Like as much as I'm not going to do that with all the bosses because I want to get through this DLC and move on with my life. But it was fun in the couple bosses that I haven't done it with to go, man, it's really cool to learn the timings and all of that, and maybe not do a shield build, maybe do a dodge build. And actually like learn these intricacies a little bit more. Because when I got the final attempt on Mesmer, I felt awesome. Because I'm just like, I know to dodge this, I know to dodge this, I know to block here, I know to jump here. That felt good. And I get why people do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that means you have to put other people down.
No.
Who decide not to participate in that. But I do understand a value in choosing to do that from a like self, like, oh wow,
you pulled something off.
I put a challenge before myself and I did it and I feel good for me. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Plus you live in a time where you can put that up in video form and you can EP until the end of time without telling everyone else they suck. It's just
not me. I didn't record it. My wife came in and watched and she was like, oh, you got killed real bad. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you got killed again. I was like, yes. I know. I'm dying a lot right now.
My wife, now that's funny because my wife walked in when I was playing Final Fantasy and she said, well, who's this fancy boy? And I said, I'm sorry. She goes, this guy, who's this guy? This fancy boy you got here. And I said, well, that's my character and he's a big badass. Why do you call him a fancy boy? And she goes, we're usually like some spiked up green guy or something. I think she thought this was WoW or something. Because, first glance, she's not paying attention to that stuff. And so I think she thought I was playing World of Warcraft. She's like, where are the orcs? Where are the spikes? Where are the, the axes and the whatnot? And instead I got Mr. Pretty Pants out there with his rainbow colored sweeps.
She's seeing a whole new side of you, Scott.
Yeah.
I don't understand. He's not giant and spiky and green.
Yeah, she didn't get it.
He looks like somebody you'd invite to dinner.
Yeah, and would be a wonderful dinner guest. It turns out that's what everyone expects out of my character, Teddy Blunderhose.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, awesome. You guys had a fun time. I played some World of Warcraft War Within pre-patch. Ladies and gentlemen, I installed the update, and they had a downtime that was originally like a couple of hours, and then it turned into an entire day. So I didn't get to play that day. However, the next morning, and some people said, Scott, it was always supposed to be a day. I swear to you, the thing up at the top of BattleNet said 7 a.m. to about 9:30 a.m., and instead later it said 9 p.m., and I'm sure that it changed, but I have no confirmation on this. Anyway.
Conspiracy theories.
So I finally got in. I caught up on some stuff apparently that was already there. Like there's a meeting with Khadgar, the shit wizard, and and I freaking love him. So it was no problem hanging out with him. But him and, is it Valeria, the sister? She was, I think that's, what's her name's sister? Right,
Illyria Windrunner, right?
Windrunner, yes, correct.
Is there an Illyria as well, or
Illyria?
Yeah, there's three Windrunners.
3 of them.
This is the one that was a lover/husband to the golden dude.
The one who's got the void in her now.
Yes, the one that does void shit. I can't think of her name.
Teresa Windrunner.
It's not her.
No, not her.
This is
one.
Illyria.
The one that's not Sylvanas and not the one
Illyria. Anyway.
Yeah. Who's with Turalyon?
Yes, that's the guy. So there's some weird shit that goes down with that. But anyway, she goes and she's gets summoned along with you and some other people. You all get summoned to go talk to shit wizard Khadgar up in Dalaran. So I go up there and they got a whole conversation going. I will say this. Blizzard is really good at the casual cutscene stuff in engine now. Like that stuff is so improved. And I don't mean the one that they have as part of an engine and they add a bunch of shit to it, but it's basically pre-recorded. I mean the one that's being rendered in real time and voiced. That used to be real ugly.
Where your character can actually show up.
Yeah, your character can show up, and that used to look real jank. It looks really good now. And those two having their conversation was just really, it was just so well done. I was a little taken aback. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how good they can be when they want to.
Yeah, this is not the days of like, let's ride, and then they go into a sitting position and float into the air to appear on a horse that just poofed into existence.
Yeah, those days are gone, thank goodness. But anyway, they had a whole thing, and I think somebody in my chat said, oh, they already did this. This wasn't part of the patch. I'm like, oh, well, it's new to me, so we're going through it. So I did all of that, and there's a whole sequence you can run where you go into the void space or void world or whatever, and this is where they're starting to go, we're hearing these voices. We don't know where it's coming from. Starting to hint that there's something in the planet, and they don't know what it is, and there's like a shadowy lady who keeps popping up going, oh, I see you've come to do the thing or whatever, and there's, so they're leading us to this harbinger lady and what the whole thing is. So I did all that stuff as much as I could. And then I was like, well, I got to go also tie up some of this loose end stuff I didn't quite finish with patches that came out after I was caught up. I did all of that with GURP, and that was my experience so far. So not much beyond that, except the new Warband thing is in. And what that is you choosing your top, is it 4 or 5? Crap, 4, maybe 5 players? I could run the game real quick and look. I'll do that. Let me run that real
I've
fast.
seen 4, but that doesn't mean that that's what the top is.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it's
I've seen screenshots with 4, so Chad is saying 4.
Is it 4? Okay, so they arranged themselves in a camp. I don't know how the Alliance one looks, but the Horde camp is just sort of in the wilderness, and it's sort of almost Diablo style, where they're all kind of hanging around, and then you click on one and they kind of stand up and go and look cool for a minute. Then you click on another one and they get off the ground and hold their weapon out, and it's very much like choosing a character in Diablo, kind of Diablo 2 and 4, I guess. And anyway, your top 4 characters, you put them up in that upper slot, and they are all there. So what that means is those characters will all share account-wide everything. So mount unlocks, any cosplay. What am I trying? Transmogs, what I meant to say. Any cosplay.
I love the idea that they're sharing cosplay.
Yeah. Reputation.
Which historical figures do you like? We should dress as them.
We really should. They share reputation. Bo, you'll like that. And I think these are the ones I don't know this for sure. This is me making this up. But I get the feeling that maybe some configuration of these players here will be with you when you do the AI dungeon runs. The ones like Final Fantasy does. I could be wrong on that. It seems like that'd be cool.
I have to ask you a clarifying question, and Chad has already answered this, but I'm going to ask it for the benefit of listeners at home, even though I've gotten my answer.
All right, go.
You said that characters in the Warband share, but I was under the impression that all alts shared content, not just the Warband.
That's a great question. Are these maybe these are just my favorites?
Chat says every character shares. This is just for the benefit of your menu screen.
Okay, if that's the case, then that's awesome. I didn't know that. I guess this is just a favorites grouping. I thought it only affected them. That makes me feel better, because I was worried that it's like, well, what if I feel like playing the
Because like that to me, like that would have been a serious nerf to the feature if it was just 4 characters get to share.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that is huge. So again, I'm asking a question I got the answer to, but it's for the benefit of people at home that didn't have the chat to read.
No, I'm glad
all your characters are sharing.
I'm glad the chat brought it up, because I was not aware of that. That's awesome. So yeah, all of that, your bank, everything, it's all shared. You have common, there's a quest you have to go run in Gadget Zan to get the bank going, because they got some new gadget they got to stick in the middle of the bank, and it creates this like vortex of energy where all your shit can be shared, and everyone in the bank's losing their minds because it's scary. And one of the goblins in there goes, he doesn't voice it, but it's a word bubble, and he goes, I'm just here trying to do banking, or something like that. I laughed really
like
hard.
So that's actually a Final Fantasy trait, which is overly quest explaining basic UI and gameplay features. I love it. It's kind of goofy every time that they're like, no, like if you want to be able to alter your character's opinion, or not opinion look. If you want to alter your character's look in the game, like the barber shop, like that's a quest in Final Fantasy. You have to meet a barber and talk to him, and it's so goofy, it's so dumb, but I love it. So it like actually makes me happy to hear that WoW is doing the same thing. I love the idea that it's like, no, we got to explain where this tech came from. Like, it's great.
It's a little like what they did with the alternate race unlocks. Kind of, they did the same thing where it was like, here's a whole little line. You don't just get the race. You got to go talk to people and have some moments. And I like that too. I think it's fun. Makes it feel more fulfilling. Other than that, I have been flying mounts that should not be flyable in now. What do they call it again? I forgot the name. Skyflight or whatever it is they're calling it now. So that ability to do, crazy swirls and dips and dives and all that stuff really fast on your mounts, that is now applied to most flying mounts. Not all, but most of them. And even a few ground mounts can do it, although maybe they were already hybrids and I just didn't know it. But I've been experimenting with those, and some of them are awesome. Like, holy shit, using an old proto Drake from like Lich King that I've had forever from a raid. That guy looks great doing Dragonflight. It's unbelievably cool. And I've had him forever, so it just feels good. The Proto Drake, the see-through blue-looking one from the second expansion, was Burning Crusade, is really cool looking. Like, they've really made the old stuff shine that used to fly normally. They look really cool. There are a few things, though, that are effed. So, like, the rocket, it looks so stupid flying. Apparently, and I haven't tried it yet, but I own it. But the big Zeppelin thing, apparently that's just a joke. Like, to watch that thing doing swoops and acting like a bird. It's just stupid. But the pig that I bought forever ago is one of the only mounts I ever bought outside the game. It was a piggy bank thing. So when you ran, it would poop out coins out of its back end. And it's just this cute little pig, and I love it. And that pig flies. And, well, it flew before, but it used to be just kind of hoverfly. Now this does the swoops and the dives and all this shit on this dumb pig. And I love that. So I'm really glad they put that stuff in there. You can toggle that off. So let's say you're in the mode of like, I'm in a zone where I just need to hover above stuff. I don't want to, be in full control of flight all the time. I forgot the name of it, but you hit this button and you do this swirly, windy thing with your hands, and it takes a second. But then as soon as you've cast it, all your flying mounts behave like they used to. So that's an option you can toggle on or off. You can't do it like that. You have to cast it, and you have to be on the ground when you do it. But it makes sense. You'd be, doing weird stuff you're flying with or whatever. And there's no cooldown on it, so you can just use it anytime you want. So they kind of let you play that stuff the way you want. I think ultimately what I'll do is have a new dynamic flying mount, a hover one that only ever does the hover. I'll have that next to it, and then some favorite ground thing for when I'm doing ground stuff, and just not worry about the toggle because I don't want to fiddle with that too much. But it's all in there, so if you want to use it. The UI overhaul is pretty interesting. Icons are all different. They changed not too many expansions ago when you're doing a main campaign thing. It's not just a question mark. It's like a little shield with a question mark on it or exclamation point. Those are still there, but once you start them, they turn into shields with 3 little dots as if something's in progress. So all over the map are these dots. World quests have their own special little quest thing. They're not just numbers. They're like a special icon. Whole bunch of that type thing was done to the game. Other than that, I haven't done enough to say what all the changes are. Obviously, they're listed on their website, so we could read that. But it's cool so far, and it felt good. John said it earlier. The thing about WoW is it plays so good. Like,
yeah,
the combat just immediately, it's like, this is satisfying. It's just such a great, smooth, animated experience, and I am looking forward to next month and going to town on that expansion. So we shall see, and I hope more shit wizard is what I'm asking for.
I mean, all of us own the game, right? So are we doing a full core press?
I mean, I'm playing. I don't know what your temperature is on playing more WoW right now, but
I mean, like I said, I didn't want to play a bunch of WoW before I played a bunch of WoW, and I did buy the thing, and I was interested. I might give it some effort, at least even just to do MSQ, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing that for sure. How much I do after that, I don't know. It depends on what they have in store.
We might be able to get a little core dungeon going, possibly at some point. You never know.
The only hint Metzen has given me, because he has been very, very good at keeping PR quiet about things, about the game.
Yeah.
I asked him the other day, I said, hey, this character all wrapped up in, he's one of those mummy-looking guys, not the, what are they called?
An ethereal.
Yeah, but he's like a unique one, a whole new model, everything. And he says, I forgot his name. Actually, I can find it. He's in that pre-content where the shit wizard sends you out and to do stuff, and you go talk to this guy. Let's see if I can remember his name. He is called, Locust Walker is his name.
Yeah.
And I wrote him. I said, man, that guy is awesome. I don't know what's going to go on with him. And this is the most he's told me. Smiley face, good story coming, ... And that's it. So take that for what you will. It's, Metzen's got a reputation, and we all love his work. So here we go. Like, no pressure, but I'm sure he's feeling some. But next month we'll find out if The War Within is a return to glory. Even though I thought Dragonflight was awesome. All right. Enough about that. Let's move on to John and his time in Path of Exile. What?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
You played a Spike game.
I did play a Spike game.
Okay, tell us about it. What's going on in there?
Man, I feel like I gotta take back a lot of snide comments I made about Path of Exile over the years. I haven't played a lot of Path of Exile.
Wait. Did you enjoy it?
I not just enjoyed it, I loved it and can't wait to play more of it.
Whoa.
What
the hell?
I
don't even know.
Really liked playing Path of Exile.
Did you play like new content, or were you just playing like the Act 1 base game?
I played, I think, the base game. I don't know. I installed it. I said sign in with my Steam account. And then I hit play, and somebody told me I was a criminal and that I was being exiled. And I went, okay. And I saw a bunch of characters that looked vaguely like a character select screen. And I was like, duelist. And it was a dude. And I was like, well, I don't usually play a dude, but I want to be a duelist. So we'll just name him Stanley. And that name was taken, and I was like, "Oh right, multiplayer." Mm-hmm. So I named him Stanley Billings, and now I'm in. Now I'm playing, and Stanley Billings is now exploring Path of Exile, and I really like this game. Like it, I get why it intimidates people, and I will say I survived the first jump scare of the game, which was the put in a talent point menu popped up, and I went, "Jeez, what is this?"
The big old.
Yeah, that thing will take you off guard if you haven't seen that in a while. It's like, holy shit, how many little pathways are there?
I'm not looking up builds. I'm not looking up guides. I'm not looking up.
You might want to look up builds, because I don't know if it's changed, but as memory serves, you can't really undo your build very easily.
That's fine. As far as I'm concerned, Stanley Billings can eventually go in the garbage. I'm not worried about.
You're not gonna have a meta build in Path of Exile?
No, I'm just gonna play the game until I decide not to, or to play the game seriously. I'm just playing. I'm just gonna experience it as if from fresh eyes, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm trying not to let the things that are intimidating intimidate me. And I'm just like, I'm in there, and yeah, there's been some like weird things. Like I piece the gear dropped, and I'm like, ooh, look at all the sockets it's got. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this must be an epic. No, it's a gray piece of shit item. They all have sockets. Like everything has sockets in this game. And
you can read. Chat says you can respec with gold in the new league. So you
so that was actually what got me to check it out. Is I saw the trailer for the new league, and it looked cool. I know that's not what I'm playing right now. But I was like, well, let me try it and let me see what I think of the game. And also I've been incredibly, like, to be honest, I've been incredibly interested in Path of Exile too. I was just going to wait for that, but I was like, well, let me skip ahead and let me play a little of what it started as. And, yeah, again, like there's weird things. The sockets seemed weird at first. When I was like, let me sell items, and they didn't offer me gold. They offered me what looked like coupons. I was like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Why am I offering you my armor and my swords, and you're offering me what looks like drugs and coupons. Like, why is this?
Sure.
And but I figured it out. It actually does a pretty decent job of like kind of self-explaining, and you go, okay, that makes sense. And then, even though I'm like not even that high of a level, all of a sudden I started to see the benefits of the like rune system and the gem system and all that and how it works. Because here I am, a low level like duelist running around, and all of a sudden I've got what feels like a build, and I feel insanely powerful at like level 5 or whatever crazy low level I am right now. Because one of the first things they gave me is like, oh, you strike twice, you go haha with your sword. Like, what an ability. Great.
Yeah,
And
cool.
but then all of a sudden I got a gem that now when I go haha and attack twice with my sword, it does that to 2 other enemies within a radius around me. And all of a sudden I have this like bleeding strike cleave attack on my character, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. I feel insanely powerful. And like that's what I love about these types of games is, and I've said this about Diablo 3 a lot. My favorite thing about Diablo 3 is it does a very good job of going, hey, here's the rules of the world. And now, oh, you got an item. Now you get to break those rules. And that's what this feels like already at like level 5. I feel like I'm getting levels of that. And I'm like, oh, I'm having a ton of fun. It's reminding me of like early Diablos. And I think this is really cool. I'm having a great time in this game. So I'm as shocked as anybody. I downloaded it kind of on just like, I'll just see what it's like. And I'm kind of hooked. It's kind of all I want to play right now.
So,
And
what class are you?
I'm a duelist.
Yeah, duelist. I wish that I don't know why this game. Well, maybe 2.0 will, but why doesn't it support multiple gendered characters? I don't understand that. It seems like a standard thing you would do.
It's probably just like the gender locking that a lot of games do. It probably just has that.
These games typically did that in the past until 3.
I guess 2 was
right?
like that.
Diablo 3 was the first time that happened. So
that's true.
Probably just historically that's been the case. Like these are the characters, and
sure,
that's it. But it's fine. Like I picked a character I liked based on the description. I don't know if it's a good class or not. I'm just like, meh. I just will do what I want, and I'm not going to be overly concerned about making right or wrong choices, and that has helped me get in. Because again, yes, that first you open up the talent window and you're like, good lord, it feels very daunting. But if you go in and you go, I'll probably screw it up, but I don't care, like then there's no wrong choices.
You certainly like to pick games that are not short on content after completing Final Fantasy XIV. Again,
I know.
Like the thing about this game is you're going to soon realize that the campaign is like 10 acts long at this point, maybe
so
more.
So big, yeah.
And that's the first playthrough that you play through a second time, I believe, on a harder mode as you're leveling. And then there's the whole map system, which I think is their version of Nephilim Rift. Plus, like, I don't know what the state of side content is, but like I remember there's one that wasn't current at the time, but was still in the game called Delve. And you could probably just spend weeks playing that, but it's old like there's just like it's a lot, dude. I'm just warning you now.
No,
but if you're just in there just to play,
fine.
Fine.
I'm just like, I'll see it, and I'm
you know
not.
How that you can get hooked, right? Where you're just like, oh man, I want to complete this. Like when something really sinks its teeth into you. I'm just letting you know there's a lot going on. In this game.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is like I'm not going in with an expectation of like I beat Path of Exile, everybody. But like I'm just going in and like I just want to see it, and I just want to have a good time, and like I've been having the itch to play an ARPG, and this is the first one of offerings that I've played recently that I've been like, oh, I want to come back and play more of that. So, it's good. I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know where it will end up. I'm not worried about it. So, I'm just gonna enjoy it for however long I play it for, and this, who knows?
So-
Maybe I go deep down the rabbit hole, but right now I'm just having a good time.
That's
goofing
great.
around in it.
I'm curious though, because you've said this many times on the show. One of the things you don't like about 4 or 2 and liked about 3 was 3 decided that the world could have some color. This game is also pretty bleak in terms of color, at least early on. Like later in the game, I don't know, maybe some of that improves. But does that bother you at all, or do you feel like it's fine?
I don't know if it's because it just looks dated. Because I mean, it is an older game at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like I look at it and I look at the models and I go, "Oh, this is a little rough." And I think it's maybe living in a space in my head where it's getting a lot of a pass because it reads as an older game to me. Like, I wouldn't boot up the original Diablo and go, "What is this nonsense?"
Yeah.
Like, because I wasn't in at the ground floor with it, it's like, oh, I'm playing an older video game. Like,
Right.
It's fine.
That's fair.
But I don't hate how it looks. It is dark for sure, and there was a point where I was like, "This is getting really dark," and then I went to a place where it was daylight, and I was like, "Oh, this actually looks kind of nice. I kind of like this." So,
Yeah.
it hasn't really put me off all that much, but it also hasn't really made me go, "My God, you guys, I've seen the future. Jesus wept. This
Yeah.
place is
Yeah.
place is beautiful."
Well, that's great. I always feel tempted to play more Path, but I never do. I don't know why. I've played it, started it, I don't know, 10 times, and I always feel intimidated by how much shit there is, and the jump scare of seeing the talent map the first time. It's like, what am I doing here? What is this about? Well, all right then. John, also, you ended up playing through all of those Shatterproof games.
Yeah, so once again, thank you to Shatterproof for a couple gifted games. I said I took my time to focus on Final Fantasy, and this was my week to start playing games that were gifted to me. I still have not gotten to Shin Megami Tensei. I will. Once again, I was told no
It'll turn
rush
into a
on it.
meme now.
I
Yeah,
was told I don't have to rush, but that one was not on the list. But I played. We'll start with Crab Champions.
Let's do it.
Scott talked about this, like 2 weeks ago or
Yeah.
something like that. You
Yeah.
talked about it. I don't really have anything more to say. It's fun.
It's a really
controls
fun
really
shooter.
frantically. I was surprised at how challenging it was. I was like, this isn't gonna be hard. I'm great at shooting crabs. Like,
Yeah. They throw a lot
I
at
can
you.
do this.
Yeah, and the horde-like modes, it gets crazy, dude. There's so much going on.
The next thing I know, I had a couple successes and then got overwhelmed very quickly and was like, oh, okay, maybe there's something here.
Yeah.
Probably the one I enjoyed the least of the 3 games that were gifted, but I liked all of them. But this is probably the one that will have the longest gap between getting back to.
Sure.
I think it just, again, not to speak to the quality of the game. I think the game is very good, but I think it falls into the kind of a similar thing to what Bo said, where like, this is not my type of game that I'm going to want to keep revisiting this type. Like, I'm
Right.
pretty selective about when I play this type of game. And I can get burnt out on these types of games pretty quick.
Right.
So yeah, not a lot to say about Crab Champions. So let's talk about the next one, which was Boar Blasters.
Boar Blaster. I played some more Boar Blasters as well because
Boar.
I knew you were playing.
This
Game is
game,
awesome.
this game's cool.
It
I do
is
like
cool,
this.
dude.
I do like this game. This game is like, what's the digging game? Steampunk Dig, SteamWorld Dig.
Yeah. It
It's
is in that
like
you're digging.
SteamWorld
Yeah.
Dig meets Dwarf Game meets, I don't know, a game with a helicopter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty simplistic but very satisfying, and yeah, there's another one. I don't have a lot to say about it because it's very much that loop of like, go until you either succeed or die, use the currency you got to buy new upgrades. I very quickly was like, ooh, I really don't like the limited fuel. Like, that's a mechanic I don't like very much in video games. So I've been spending all my upgrade points in being able to last longer in the runs because it it irks me when it's like, it's like Sonic not being able to breathe underwater. I just perpetually have that annoying sound living in my head when I know there's a fuel meter ticking down on me.
Sure.
But no, it's really a cool game, and it's got a very satisfying loop. It's all very quick. The sprite work is all really solid, and you basically just go. You dig so you can upgrade your helicopter so you can dig better somewhere else, and then they throw a bunch of weird shit on top of it at you.
Yeah.
If it gets more complicated beyond that, I haven't seen it, but that's what I'm doing right now.
There's just things are bigger, badder, cooler. Your weapons are it just gets better as time goes on and more crazy, but not in a negative way. Like there's just as much cool shit to unlock as there is to be challenged by. So I like that about it. Also, I've unlocked most of the secondary characters. I don't know if you unlocked anybody else.
No, I haven't unlocked any other characters, but I do think Blizzard has a lawsuit on its hands for your helper guy. I swear to God, he looks exactly like a very specific gnome from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
As soon as he pops up, I'm like, I have seen this man, and wow, he has given me quests.
He definitely has. There's something about that guy. There he is again.
Like he's up there. Yeah, he is a wow ass gnome that is telling you what to do in this game.
Yeah, it's just the other thing I like about it is the dev team has been extraordinarily communicative. They are always doing updates and they're always talking to the community. The game was in great shape when I was playing it, but they've added a lot, new modes. It just gets better. So if you're into one of these, you're just in an arcade mood and you just want your dual stick on, and also just there's some Vampire Survivors elements in this. There are some regular roguelike type things in it. And like you said, SteamWorld Dig feels like a definite sort of vibe for it. It's great, and the extra characters are great. They're basically like, I don't know, fantasy. They're sci-fi versions of fantasy characters. So like it really just affects the sort of special you have. So your special with the basic ship is you just kind of bust through stuff for a brief time.
Yeah, it's very satisfying, although it does get me into trouble because the amount of times I run into the wall before activating it and take damage, or they do a slowdown to try and warn you, hey, it's about to run out, but I'm always like, I could get one more block. And then I bounce into a wall right after it wears off.
Yeah.
It's pretty frequent.
Pretty crazy. The second you unlock, you launch missiles into the caverns, and it creates like multiple big hallways. And then the third one I got is like a wizard kind of guy, and he turns regular rock into crystals that pay you money. So if it's just like a regular chunk of rock, you still get that big wide swath, and it's very shootable, like very breakable. So it doesn't take much to shoot through them, but you get all this money for it too. So there's a whole other twist to it. And I think there's maybe 2 other characters that I haven't gotten yet, but I'm pretty far in this game. I've spent a lot on upgrades and stuff. I really like this game a lot.
It's a super fun casual game. Just like, I just want to zone out and do something destructive and cool and fun. Like, that's exactly what this game just feels like. It's just very satisfying in that regard.
Yep.
It's very chill. It's kind of exactly what you expect it to be. That game being Boar Blasters.
Boar Blasters.
Oh, yeah. I already forgot.
That's all right.
Boar
Blasters.
Fine. We got it.
Yeah, we're getting better at saying
Boar Blasters.
BORE Blasters. And here's the thing about Boar Blasters. If you are a Steam Deck user and are like me and love to get games based on Steam Deck recommendations, this thing is awesome on Steam Deck. Perfectly suited for it. And also currently verified for it. So there's that.
So besides Crab Champions and Boar Blasters, Shatterproof also gifted me Riven, the sequel to Myst.
Man, Shatterproof, you gift-giving bastard.
I know. And like the Myst series is one of my favorite series of video games. I absolutely love it. I think Riven is one of the greatest video games that they ever made. I think it was ahead of its time. And I mean that in a very literal sense, because the biggest problem with Riven is there's a lot of bouncing between sections of Riven. And whenever you did, you had to change discs, which was a royal pain in the ass. Back in the day, it was like, oh, I got to go do a puzzle over here. Change the disc.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, nope. I forgot something back where I was. Change the disc. Oh, okay. Well, now we live in a time where we don't have to change discs. And as a result, Riven plays a hell of a lot better. I'll get my one big thing I don't like about it out of the way. And I get why it's something that had to be done. And honest to God, they did the best job they could. I'm impressed at the job they did. But because this is all HD, because this is all looking really good and crisp and clear, and it's in the Unreal Engine, and it's a 3D world now, all the full motion video is gone.
Oh, it's a shame.
They've been replaced with shitty 3D models.
I mean,
and
you can understand why they. Well, you just said it. You know why they do it, but
they had to.
Yeah.
They had to.
Yeah.
But it's a damn crime, and it makes me sad. And I know they didn't have a choice. It doesn't change how I feel about it. I'm just sad about it. They have done the best they can to get even in an uncomfortable way to try and get the 3D models to do literally the exact same performance as what the FMV was doing, including the fact that I was watching one of the 3D models go and I was like, this 3D model is not a very good actor. So that's how I know that they're capturing it well, because I'm literally looking at it going, 3D models acting is bad. It's not very good. But I didn't think I was going to spend very much time playing Riven, because I was like, I've played Riven before. It's in 3D now. That's cool. I've never run around it quite like this.
It's beautiful.
I got hooked again. I played it for a good chunk of time and was like, I gotta play the shit out of Riven, until I got frustrated because I got stuck and couldn't figure out what to do, and I didn't want to go somewhere else. But in some ways, it's actually a little bit harder, this version of it, because, and I'm going to spoil literally the first. It's not even a puzzle, but the first thing you have to do in Riven. So here's your starter guide. Although I think the Steam achievement is 96% of players have done this, so it's actually doing quite well.
Okay.
But when it was just a point and click adventure, those have a way of focusing on what you need to, look at. So if you go up to a door and then you notice you can arrow forward again, and you do, and it zooms in on the hinge of a door, you're like, oh, I can probably do something with the hinge of this door. But now, because it's all in 3D, there is no interesting little zoom to focus on the door. So one of the first things you have to do is, there's a door that's locked. If you look at the hinge, you can pop the hinge of the door and the door will fall open, and you can progress.
Yeah.
In a point and click version, that's very called attention to, because you're clicking around oh, what can I see? What can I do? In the 3D world, you just have to have your eyes open for it. So it does add a little bit of an extra challenge to the game, I think. But, it does also add some quality of life features. I think there's an internal photo mode, so that, if you see what you think is a solution to a puzzle, you can just hit a button and it'll take a screenshot for you that you can reference later, which is pretty important in Riven. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure there's a puzzle that revolves around math and discerning a language, which is probably going to have to require screenshots to solve. I'm pretty sure I had a notebook with me when I did it. So there's some, quality of life improvements there, and getting to run around in it is really nice. It's a beautiful world. And I was just immediately right back there. Somebody who went so deep on the Mist lore that I actually read the books. So I end up on that place and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. That's the fissure, and that exists because the guy who taught Atreus how to create worlds doesn't know how to do it. He just likes to do shortcuts and his world can't hold together. And that was the book that he was writing in at the end of Mist to try and keep the world from falling apart, because he breaks the rules of writing. I get super nerdy excited about all this. I'm like, oh, it's so good, you guys.
Are they still? They're not still making books and stuff, right? That's all done, as far as we know.
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they do that anymore. I think they've moved on.
I mean, they're definitely having a moment with this, but I don't think that means new books.
Yeah.
It looks neat. They've somehow captured the way I remember that game looking, and suddenly you're moving around in it. That's nuts. It's nuts.
Also,
Yeah.
VR supported.
Ooh, Bo.
Oh, this would be a cool game in VR because there's a lot of riding on rails and shooting through tunnels underwater and stuff like that.
Yeah, grabbing that.
Yeah, well, I think the same. I think I got that as a gift as well. I just haven't claimed it from
Shatterproof.
Shatterproof in the community. Yeah, I just haven't claimed it. So
He's a gift lord.
I definitely had my eye on that because I'm like, oh, I'll put that in the quest.
Yeah.
As long as there's no spiders, I just need to make sure there's no spiders.
I don't think there are any spiders in this game. I don't think so. I
Mm.
know Myst 4 has a living world where you have to use like living creatures to help solve the puzzles, but I don't think this game does it.
Oh, look at this. This whole sequence was so cheeseball in the pre-rendered days. It looks so nice.
Well, yeah, and that's where they'd interrupt your cool rail ride to tell you to put in disc 7.
Yeah.
And so like now you just get to ride it and it's pretty good. So
That's awesome.
like,
Sure reviewing well. People are happy to see some Riven back in their lives.
Damn.
yeah, I love those games, and that game's one of the best they ever made. Again, just maybe a little ahead of its time.
Well, Bo, let's swing it over to you and check in on your Triple Z.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Oh, hi, Bo.
Oh, hi. Oh, by the way, that was
Hi.
Riven. Riven is the name. Okay, Bo, go ahead.
Yeah, Riven is the name. All right, and the name of this game that I'm going to talk about, it's the singular game on my list since we talked about Elden Ring. It is Zenless Zone Zero. All right.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right.
You got that? You remember
Yep,
it?
you guys all got
Yeah.
that? We'll come back to it and tell you again. Don't worry.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, I'm fully sucked in on this game.
Hasn't hit a
Like-
ding desert yet? You're still good.
No, I haven't hit the Ding Desert. I am nearly completed all content at this point. There is like the end game stuff, so to speak, that like is increasingly challenging that you want to level for. It's not the main show. It's not the main attraction at the carnival. I've done all story missions that are available. Since this is an ongoing game, there'll be, new chapters added, and the story, it's not a game you can finish right now, but you can finish all available content that tells the story. It's got, the side missions and exploration missions are fully doable with free in-game stuff. I haven't rolled any gacha, if that's the question you're looking for, but the side stuff is doable. The main missions are doable. Even like the quote unquote end game content is, they introduce it to you as you go in, and you can kind of do it. I haven't hit a wall basically. And I keep wake up and I'm like, oh, do I want to play a video game? And it's like, oh, what game do you want to play? It's like, I want to play this game. The animations are nice. The overall quality and presentations there, it's fun. There's like strategic depth to the heroes. I'm enjoying it a lot.
I guess I'm surprised. I don't know why I thought you would have hit some sort of ding desert by now, that you would have been, well, there it is. It reared its head. We know what this game is, and this hasn't happened yet.
No. Now, we do have to asterisk this. I really enjoy the game. Is it predatory and awful? Yes. I had a moment where I was considering buying some gacha. And I had to sit down and, have a mental health episode. To resist the temptation to buy some gacha, to get some stuff.
Right.
And that's real. And a lot of what they do in there does make you want to unlock some heroes and get some stuff. It's bad. And you can argue that some of the game design could be better than what it is. It could be an even better game if it wasn't leaned in that direction. However, it's a whole ass genre, and you can hate war and want war to stop, and it's not going to stop. And you can hate gacha all you want, and it's not going to stop. So,
I love the comparison, war and gacha.
well, it's terrible. It's manipulative, and I know a whole bunch of people, it's just normal for them. And just because it's normal for a bunch of people, I'm not going to say it's not abusive, because it is.
Yeah.
But the one thing is that I haven't felt, for whatever reason, it hasn't been an aspect where I felt it necessary to purchase anything. I have spent a bit of money. I bought the battle pass.
Oh, all right.
So I have I'm like $20 to $30 in, which is reasonable considering I've played pretty much every day since last week's episode. I log in, I do a couple missions, I'll do some relationship building. It doesn't feel tedious. There's no tedious repetitive work. There's certainly no ads. There's no, hey, do you want some free Denny's? That's what the game calls the Eddies in this game. It's Denny's.
They call them
saying
Denny's?
it out loud makes me realize they're calling it Denny's like the shitty restaurant, which is funny. But
I hate that.
Yeah. There's no watch an ad and do this.
I don't mind. I'm just getting used to Gil in my life, and that one's still really stupid. But these fake currency names have got to go.
Look. I just picked up Psyche Resonance plugin. Like this, if you like word soup for like the pickups you have, this game's got like 100 different names for things. It's pretty annoying.
I've long held that there's two currencies that belong in video games. If you're doing fantasy, gold, maybe platinum, but gold is your base, right? And versions of gold, and then in sci-fi, it's credits. Anything else? Dumb idea. That's been my experience. Nobody's
I'm good with Cyberpunk and Eddies.
Yeah, I guess it's okay.
Yeah,
Eddies is better.
I like a good fake currency.
They're technically Euro dollars because that's the in-game lore. If there's good in-game lore supporting your weird name, that's then you get a pass. Cyberpunk gets a pass for me.
All right.
But I know if you're calling them like Denny's is like actually really bad now that I said it out loud. I didn't really notice till I said it out loud. That's a terrible one. Or whatever. I can't think of any, but there are definitely examples of bad in-game currency names that are just there because when they sat around a boardroom, they said our game's got to be unique and have unique things, but there's really no good lore or rationale apart from just to do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
I haven't been to a Denny's in a while. Kind of making me hungry for breakfast food. But
the other exception is also Buckazoids.
I'm sorry, Buckazoids?
Buckazoids. Yeah. That's great.
From Space Quest?
That makes you want to kill somebody. I didn't know that's what they were called.
No, that's good. Buckazoids is great.
No, it's terrible.
Space Quest is a satire. You remember Space Quest?
Oh,
right?
yeah. I remember.
Yeah. It's meant to be like, yes.
I did a whole play retro on that game series, and I love that series. There's nothing wrong with that series, but I forgot the money was called Buckazoids.
Currency is Buckazoids. Yeah, it's Buckazoids.
Stupid.
It's not Buck because it's the future.
Yeah.
So it's Zoids.
We'll allow it since it's a parody. They're likely making a parody of space currency.
I'm just saying
it's fine.
It gets a bow pass for also not being, gold or credits. It's fine. Also, it's not like you're hoarding a bunch of currency. Like you have to, you find. I think in Space Quest 1, there's like the Mos Eisley Cantina, and where the Blues Brothers, the futuristic Blues Brothers, are playing.
Oh right. Yeah.
And you find some dollars and you can gamble in the slot machine that you could potentially kill you, like vaporize you if you roll bad on the slot machine. The future. I should play Space Quest. Anyways.
I should make a new one. I need new Space Quest is what I need.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
But Zenless, back to Zenless Zone Zero. It's got its hooks in me. I think I'm done though. There's a new update this week. There wasn't a ton of content. I think I maxed out on whatever there is to do. Like the quest is currently like, just increase your level and wait for some more stuff to come. So I'm like, I guess I'm done. Like I've reached the end of the carnival ride, and no Ding Desert. Like
nice.
Strictly speaking, no Ding Desert. Like they've given me enough free pulls. I think with the different channels they have, probably in somewhere 300, pulls of randomness so I've gotten stuff. As long as you're happy with whatever shit you get, and you're not like, no, I need the new character, Ju Yuen, and I'd like some cinemas, so I need a couple of copies of her.
Yeah.
And so maybe if I spend a couple $100, I'll be happy with that. If you can just it's like they've really compartmentalized that part. So it's like only the sick people who need to play endgame to the maximum capacity and want to blow hundreds of dollars on it can. But I'm probably going to stop playing this week, and I'm going to feel satisfied with my time. And not really have a complaint apart from, feeling like I wanted to buy some stuff earlier, like about midway between episodes of the show. So it is a predatory practice. It is, kind of criminal. I'm not gonna lie. Like to conduct business this way, to be like the way we're gonna earn money is we're going to just randomly give you the product you want. But it's not even like it really, gacha really puts other stuff to shame, because I was watching a video about like, how many pulls on average would you need to get this specific thing to where you want it, and the numbers were in the thousands of dollars.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Like it's not it's not even like slot machines where there is a payback. It is just like content that is overpriced artificially because of the dumb randomness, and it just, I don't want to support it. At the same time, the game is quite good. And at the same time, me not supporting it is like, no one gives a shit. Okay, don't support it, oldie. Like the rest of us are going to play the game and whatever. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just one of those things. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I'm pretty much, I think, done. But it is the production value is quite good. I gotta say.
Yeah, I gotta admit they're kind of attractive. I like how they look and play. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try this one.
I think the one thing about this too is like, I'm not big on the big one right now. Apart from Zenless, is this game Wuthering Waves? I think it's called. It's also a gacha, but it's like, fantasy shit. And I realize I'm like, like the Cyberpunk's like knocking it over the edge for me to be like, I want to play. The fantasy stuff is like, ugh, get out of here with, because it's like that emotions, right? Like, because it's already like that.
Ew, emotions.
We talked about, but you know what I mean? Like we talked about Eastern like games being very talky, right?
Yeah.
So when it's like fantasy, it's like, the angels of whispering willows came to me, and it's just blah 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 blah, and I just couldn't be. I get very bored of that stuff. It's not. I like fantasy, but I like not a lot of talking.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Baldur's Gate is like my level of talking. Like they're very to the point, and they don't belabor things most of the time. Sometimes they do, and it's great. But a lot of the Eastern stuff is just like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I give you that.
And so I find like my tolerance is like, okay, I don't want to like Genshin Impact was like that. It was just like, here's a new storyline, and here's like 5 hours of blather.
Mm-hmm.
And this game is a little bit like that. Like I am skipping inane conversations with Ben about how he likes to drink his tea milk.
Yeah.
But overall, I like the game. So anyways,
I feel like I would
pretty much what I've done.
I feel like I'd skip a lot of that.
You know what this conversation reminded me?
What's that?
I didn't exactly play, but I did install and boot up Warframe this week.
Wow. Look at you with the Warframe.
Yeah. So TennoCon happened. I don't know what happened there, but it popped up on Steam one day. I opened up Steam and it was like, hey, TennoCon's going on. I was like, all right, cool. And it's like, you can get a Saren Prime if you watch it for 30 minutes. And that's the character I play in Warframe. And I went, well, I want that.
Yeah, of course.
So I put it on for 30 minutes and left the room. And then I loaded it up and saw Saren Prime in my inventory and went, I did it. I closed the game and walked away.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's not really a played, but yeah, technically I loaded Warframe this week.
I know. Warframe is
Warframe's great, man.
It's always just on the edge of me wanting to play, but there's just lots of stuff to do, and I just can't. When you miss so many like years of shit and content, you're like, I can't. I don't want to catch up. Although you're doing that with Path of Exile, you're catching up on the entire game.
Yeah.
That's why I'm warning you, dude. There's a lot of shit in there.
Is that why they were struggling with like whether to call two? Do you know what I mean? Because it was like there's so much to Path of Exile now that if you have a proper sequel, well, you just gonna flush all that content. It is
funny. I don't know if did they say they were struggling to call it two?
I thought there was a time where it was going to be called to no, or maybe it's the other way around, where it was just going to be, here's our revamp of 1 plus new content, and then they were like, well, let's just give it a full sequel. And now I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. So maybe I don't know.
I think that game started very, four guys in a basement kind of thing, and the code probably as it's been improved on. Like there's probably at the revenue and support system they have now a good rationale for starting from scratch, starting like just engine and the whole plan from scratch. Like it wouldn't shock, I think, any of us to hear that like there's things they want to do that they can't do because of the way they started the game.
Right.
You even hear that about World of Warcraft, and that thing's been massaged to hell and back. The two games right now couldn't look more different, classic and retail. Like it's like
they are on
but
different
there
planets.
still are limitations, I'm sure. There still are realities they have to deal with.
I'm curious about that because if it's how do you have the old school RuneScape problem, right? Where people just don't want to go. So then you have to run both games, I guess. Maybe that's fine.
I mean, at some point you just got to say, well, whatever, we're going and you come with us or you don't. Like, and I think I think it's more practical stuff like World of Warcraft, for example, because like while we were chatting, I just logged in and checked on my characters real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And even though there's a warband, they're all on different servers. Where if you were starting World of Warcraft from scratch today and you're like, we want to do warbands, you wouldn't let people choose their servers. That'd just be shit going on in the background. And then to play with your friends, you just do cross-server stuff. Like maybe the way Greg and company's doing, like I know there's going to be shards and worlds, but it's probably not going to be like, which server do you want to play on?
Right.
It's probably going to be like how Warframe works, to be honest, which Warframe is you just log in, everyone's in the same world.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not all instanced together unless you go to like a hub, and there are other players, and you're just instanced with those players. There's no like need to do servers.
Right.
I don't think WoW needs to have servers anymore, like the realms. But still in there, I still had to switch realms to get to a character. But that's like one example of friction that we could, in an ideal world, I'm sure everyone over there would just snap their fingers and make go away.
Yeah.
The whole I'm Darthalion from Earthen Ring server US level 60. Like now it's just like, no, I'm Darthalion in the game of World of Warcraft. Like I don't need all that business anymore.
Yeah.
So.
I wonder what the realm servers do for them anymore. Because you're right, it's so virtualized now. I think it's mostly performative that they exist.
Yeah, I think even from a optics or not like a feel perspective, like when I log into EVE Online, which has been a long time, there's only one server, so I feel like I'm in the world. I'm not in some 100th version of a multiverse world.
Yeah, that's how DSO works as well.
Better that way. It's and I think ideally now that they've done what they've done with like sharding and cross realm, they could probably make a version of World of Warcraft that is just log into the world, and whatever we're doing in the background, you don't got to worry about. You, the player, are just in the world, and you're just gonna see some people, And it's going to feel like you're seeing everyone, but you're not seeing everyone.
That should kind of be that should be where we're at. If it's not already, that's the future of these things. I mean,
they probably could do it. It's probably a huge investment to take that old game and do that. But if they were doing a fresh World of Warcraft, they would lay that foundation so differently. And I think Path of Exile 2 is probably a case where they can do that.
I know that was a huge hurdle with 14 because Endwalker is where they allowed you to just basically you have to visit. Like it's not just all interconnected automatically, but you can go. Like I could go play with Scott. Even though we are not only on different servers, but we are also on different data centers.
Right.
Like traveling between servers is pretty easy. That's been in there for a while, but you couldn't travel to another data center.
Right.
And they added that, but that was apparently like a pretty significant technical feat to make work for them based on how old the code was. So, but it was a high priority, and I think you're right. I think like going forward, that's just going to be almost an expected feature.
Yeah. I think Path of Exile 1 as well has had like from memory counting like 4 melee updates where they're like, we fixed melee. I think even this update also was like, we fixed melee, and I'm like, you're constantly fixing melee. Like, you're never happy with melee. I think 2 is probably going to fix melee hopefully for the final time.
Well, what was wrong with? I didn't know about this. Why is Melee considered a broken or not?
Oh, not broken. It's just like I think animations are slower, not responsive. I mean, it's been a while. I don't remember, but I always remember that from the updates.
Interesting.
Because attacks in melee range, just like maybe they're not connecting as quickly. There's might be server lag, animation problems. I don't really remember, but it's something along those lines. They're always fixing melee.
Well, I picked a melee class, so I will get back to you.
Well, it's either fixed or still not fixed. So who knows?
Well done, John, with the melee.
I did want to address a point that slipped by in chat, but it's like kind of just bugging me a little bit because I don't want to let it slide without getting my comment. It was more on the gacha thing though, so it's a little bit of a non sequitur.
That's fine. What do you got?
It's what we're doing, but they were saying gachas like we used to have gacha with MTG, Magic and trading card, and I would say like it's not the same because they all have secondary value. It's a big part of the appeal of playing those games is that there is a secondary market that's healthy and active.
Right.
And in these games, they're worthless. You can't trade them. You can't do anything with them. And even Magic Arena, which is like a nice client and nice Magic, is the shitification of Magic because you can't resell anything you have there. Like it's worse.
That's true. It's also so Valve still has trader crap, right? Like for a lot of their games and things. I feel like that's that's at least an attempt to create a secondary market. Problem is you start running into regulatory problems. Like everybody's got different stuff, but every country.
I mean, it's the scale. Like it's almost unavoidable. Like in the heyday I'm thinking of with Magic is like Mitgo, and it's like, you got to know some real nerds to have heard of this, right? You're not you're not on Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter.com, finding out about Mitgo. It's like you're on, some weird bulletin board and you find out that people can play Magic online, like something like that, right? Like it's not getting the kind of attention it does today. But
right.
Yes, you're right. It's it's both a blessing. Like obviously we're reaching more people and we have more revenue. It can do better technologies, but actually like the popularity of video games has unironically absolutely ruined some aspects of video games, like for sure, including the policing of behavior. Like there's no chatting with your opponent in Hearthstone because they just can't guarantee that 9 out of 10 of your matches are going to be with a chode that's just going to insult you like this 2 seconds into the match. So
yeah, I assume chode before any match of any multiplayer type. That's just my assumption.
But like Mitgo has full chat with opponents, and I've chatted with people. Not a lot, but you just say good luck, have fun, and maybe if there's something crazy happening, you have a reaction. It's just it was unthinkable. Like today's world back then, if I went to myself playing Magic Online back then, saying there's going to be a world where people play very pretty trading card games, but you won't be able to talk with the other players, I'd be like, oh,
that would sound crazy to you.
That sounds crazy. That sounds why is Big Brother in my games? You know what I mean? Like why are they policing my one-on-one interactions with people?
It's because everyone sucks ass. That's why.
It's a scale. Everyone sucks ass at scale. I think when you're like a pretty small community, the suck ass percentage is less. There's still going to be shitters, rough people in all walks of life, but
there's always shitters.
Yeah.
F the shitters, I say.
Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling a bit. I just wanted to say that the secondary market, really, it's just a fun game on its own. Like just knowing I've got $100 card, it's awesome. Like someone would pay me $100, and then someone comes to you and tries to like trick you out of your card at the Magic tournament. Like, oh, I've got this, Shivan Dragon. I'll trade you Jace the Mind Sculptor for my Shivan Dragon. And you're like, dude, get out of here. That thing's worth $1. Like I think a little kid actually tried to talk me into it. Like I think he was like 13 or 14. He was getting hustled, and he was trying to hustle me out of something, a bad deal.
Wow.
I was like, no, sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. You saved. You probably taught him a lesson or something. Somebody learned something.
Oh, yeah. No. You gotta treat people fairly, or they don't learn their lessons.
Yeah, then what's the damn point? Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back from this break, we got a Dear Martha grab bag, although I haven't picked a topic, so I have no idea what we're doing. John, do you have anything on the top of your head?
No, that defeats the whole purpose. You got to go figure something out.
All right, I'm going to figure something out between now and the break. So watch for that. We also got some other news to cover, an email and a voicemail today, so stick around. We'll be right back. Unpause all this and kick it off here. Hold on a second. All right. We're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. Oh, shit. I was supposed to have an idea, wasn't I? I totally forgot. All right. Here, I'm going to think of one real fast. It is why a spike game like Path of Exile is working, and you can't believe it. You got to write home to Martha and tell her all about it. How's that?
Oh, boy. Okay, sounds good. I was going to try very hard to talk about Path of Exile without shitting on Diablo, to buck the trend and talk about Path of Exile without talking about Diablo. But I don't think I'll be able to get through a Martha without doing it. So if you love Diablo, maybe skip Martha.
Yeah, maybe a quick little 40-second skip or so, or however long this goes. So here we go. Let's see what she has to say, or he has to say.
My dearest Martha, I've discovered a treasure trove of content, video game nostalgia. Remember when video games were good? Remember when your friends would tell you, hey, you're getting in deep now. You have a lot of content to deal with. Instead of being sold piecemeal each act as if it's an incredible $100 value over the period of several years. Well, that's what I've discovered in Path of Exile, Martha. And I can't believe it. I didn't believe that a video game that's seeming sole purpose was to take pot shots at a big game like Diablo would be any good. But here I am, walking around, hitting zombies, putting gems in sockets, listening to soothing town sounds, and identifying items because I have a scroll that does that, which is also the money for some reason.
That's so real.
But Martha, that's just the way it is here. And I'll tell you, it's an unexpected amount of fun. Now, sure, it means I might have to miss out on being a cool druid in a couple of weeks, months, when Diablo 4 comes out, but you know what? That game will still be there. As a matter of fact, Martha, I'd say that if you give it maybe 2 to 3 more years, I think Diablo 4 might be a video game. In the meantime, we've got this. Yours in this life and the next. D forever.
D forever. All right, that was awesome. See, sometimes the last minute stuff works out the best. You never know.
Okay, I'll play Diablo 4 for the both of us. D forever.
There you go. There you go.
I'm excited about Spiritborn.
I am too. That class is awesome.
I will say this. If I play the new expansion, and I might,
yeah,
that is 100% the class I would play. As somebody that was like, I'd love to play a monk. Yeah, I'd love to play a cool druid.
Yeah.
You and I are both Diablo monk enjoyers, 100%.
Yes, that was my first class in Diablo 3.
John and I played a lot of Diablo together.
Yeah, you guys are
Diablo 3.
Monkeys. Wait, that doesn't work. You're not monkeys.
Thanks, Scott.
What time is it over there?
It's the weed. Just kidding. I don't have any weed. All right. Excellent. Let's move on now to some news.
Like Cocaine Ghost.
Cocaine Ghost.
That's a good question.
Wrong one. Sorry, wrong one. It's got some other news of note. Hey, speaking of Diablo 4, you remember that Whoopi Goldberg thing? She was all pissed because she couldn't play it on her Mac and all that. Well, she's friends now, again, with Diablo 4, even though you still can't play it on a Mac. But they're pals again. I don't understand how that works. What happened
How do we
there?
know they're pals again?
Well, Blizzard says Blizzard mends a rift with Whoopi at Whoopi Goldberg-themed weed event as Diablo 4's Lilith presents Star with Key to Hell. So let's see what this is.
What is a weed event, though?
That's a great question. Boy, look at her playing, though. She's hardcore down here in this photo.
I don't know. I'm like, no, I love that. I mean, I haven't really watched a Whoopi movie in a long time. I don't really, I haven't watched The View. Don't know what's going on with her, but she seems cool in my books. And if she's a Diablo enjoyer, I mean, goddamn.
It says, seeing the 68-year-old Goldberg flanked by the mother of demons and creator of Sanctuary absolutely beaming is a thing I'm struggling to process in my small mortal mind, says this author. Let's see. The woman who has transmorphed a wound imp or two in her time. It doesn't say what the key is, though. She got a refund for the
Presented
game.
her with the key to hell. That's probably it's like a key to the city.
Okay.
It doesn't do shit.
All right.
Like when you're a kid, you hear about it and you're like, man, if I had that, I could open every door. I could go get toys in the middle of the night for no good reason.
Yeah.
And then you find out it's just an award. I think the key to hell is something. Like
I mean,
little demons hear about the key to hell and they're like, oh my gosh, I could go jump on Satan's bedpost.
They
But
couldn't.
then
hook
they
her
get
up
older and they realize it's just an award that they give to Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
Sure.
They couldn't hook her up with a PC if she can't play it on Mac. Just be like, listen, the Diablo team got together. We're coming to extend an olive branch. Here's a rig from Doghouse Systems with a
They could have
4090 in there. You're like,
They could have,
like,
but I'll tell you
okay,
what.
we're friends now. I'll play Diablo 4.
I suspect I'll give it another. Here's a prediction I'll make on the show. I'll give it another year, but I think within the next year, Diablo will run on silicon-based Macs. Those chips run stuff just fine. So that would actually be a perfectly fine. It was the Intel boxes that were underpowered and no good GPUs. But M1 through M3s or 2s, wherever we're at on those, they are perfectly capable for a game like Diablo. So I think it's still coming. But don't count on me because I don't actually have any information.
This picture of Whoopi Goldberg playing with Anarius and Lilith behind her looks like they abducted her and were like, you will play the game, mortal.
Oh, it's amazing.
Like it looks so hostile. It's like poor Whoopi sitting there just like, all right, I gotta play this video game or this angel and demon are going to murder me.
Well, look how serious she looks. I mean,
she looks into it, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
she's into it. She's doing good.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
She's
no.
serious. I think that's cool.
She looks like me at BlizzCon as soon as I got on the demo units. Like that's the exact same way I looked, just like lost in the moment.
And what's his name's I know he's a big TNG fan, so he probably just loved meeting her. I can't think of his name, the head of the game.
Rod Ferguson.
Rod Ferguson, yeah. So that must have been something for him.
Oh yeah, it's Guinan. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Hanging out with Guinan.
No. Guinan playing Diablo. I mean, no. That's
Satan's
it's
gotta
awesome
go down.
to see, man. Like we need more like Henry Cavill style celebrities that are just like gaming's awesome, and this is what I do. It's always hidden a lot. I find with a lot of those folks.
They'd rather be
Yeah,
playing.
you find out about it later. It's like,
I mean, yeah, you're so desperate for confirmation from that crowd. People went nuts when Robert Pattinson got all.
What did he do?
He was doing some interview about a movie, and then he got super in depth about why Final Fantasy VII was really good, but it was like no one else in the room really appreciated it as much.
that
as
was for
else.
the Batman. Yeah. He and what's her name, Zoe Kravitz, was like sitting on a couch, and he's like trying to explain choosing between Aerith and Tifa to her, and she's like, "I have no interest in this conversation."
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, like my like points of this individual, like I was just like, God damn, this guy knows. It's cool.
Yeah,
Like,
Timothy Chalamet, always talking about video games. He's always getting a chance. Him and Zendaya, however you say her name.
He's
They're
doing
into
a lot of goodwill right now. He's in too much stuff.
He's in a lot of stuff.
He's in too much stuff for me to care about what he likes in video games.
You know what else? Who else is in too many things? The most underemployed person in Hollywood is Giancarlo Esposito. He's in everything. Everything.
But you know what? I'm always happy to see him.
I love him.
But
Never bothers me.
No,
he's
issues.
not in everything like he's the lead.
No.
Chalamet is like the lead in all movies of all time. It's like, come on. And Pedro's pushing it too.
He's touching the edge of overexposure. You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a crime or anything. I just mean like I'm not interested in as much, but like good character actor. I mean, just like, oh.
The only thing I wish I'd get more out of Esposito is less variations on Gus Fring, because they're all kind of Gus Fring adjacent. And I'm not even saying that's his fault. He gets hired for that, but let him branch out.
If you watch his pre-Gus stuff, it's nothing like that.
No,
so
nothing
you know
like it.
people are telling him like, okay, we don't want you to do Gus Fring, but like maybe 78% Gus Fring.
Yeah,
It's
he gets a percentage.
Yeah, just be extremely withholding, and then when it's time to deliver your lines, explain with great articulation. You know,
love it.
why Homelander is a nonce and why he is the best Empire leader. You know, it's always the same deal,
Yeah.
but never as cool.
Mhm.
It never reaches the heights of Gus Fring. Like it's always like, yeah, okay.
What was the
He's not,
trailer?
you're not scary like you were in Breaking Bad. You know, it's
What was the
not-
trailer going around with him that something just came out that he's in, and I was surprised to see it. It wasn't.
in Deadpool?
Maybe is it Deadpool? Is it Deadpool? It might be
He's
Deadpool.
probably in Deadpool.
I don't know.
I feel like until I see it.
Oh no! I think I know what you're talking
everyone
about.
and no
and it's
one
not
is in
Deadpool.
What was it?
I don't know. I'm looking it up now. He was.
Oh,
he is
he's in
doing-
the new Captain America. That's it.
That's it. That's it.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah,
It was-
bad guy
it
in
was
Captain
MCU.
America. Yeah, we don't know what that is yet, or what that job is, or character is.
Well, he plays the president of Vought, and they're finally going to tie the universes together.
I mean, look at this. He went from just in the last, holy hell, last 2 years alone. Kaleidoscope, Grandfather of Harlem, The Mandalorian, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, Harley Quinn, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, The Gentleman. That was an awesome series, by the way. Freaking loved The Gentleman. Oh my gosh, it was so good. He was a small role though. Anyway, Abigail, great horror movie. Parish, Megalopolis. Didn't see that.
He's in Megalopolis. Wow.
Yeah, The Boys, Maxine, and he's got 7 in pre-production, including Brave New World, Captain America. Crazy.
Working. Good for him.
He's a busy dude. I'm not. Again, it's not a.
Yeah, he's in Cyberpunk Edge Runners too. That's right.
Is he?
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
right,
He's the eye guy.
He's the eye guy.
Yeah, he's working.
And
dude.
he does like the same voice. Like even in the animated stuff, it's like be animated Gus Fring.
Yeah. He's a busy boy, and I'm proud.
I mean, he does more than just that, but I guess the stuff we watch is most likely to be like that kind of thing. And
yeah. I mean, since Breaking Bad, it's nonstop for him. He just has worked every day of his life.
yeah.
Since
Oh, yeah. Okay. He's. I forgot too. He was plays Pierce Hawthorne's brother in Community, which is really against type.
That's right.
Plays
Yeah.
super against type, where he's like a nice, caring, forgotten brother of Pierce Hawthorne.
So does Mike, for that matter. I really liked him in Community, although he's not against type. He's a grumpy old man.
Oh, Ehrmantraut, yeah, Jonathan
yeah,
Banks.
Mike Ehrmantraut, Jonathan Banks.
Yeah. Looking,
he's in there
there's
too.
some really. I mean, Esposito's been working since '70. Good Lord.
Yeah, like
1970?
that's the thing is like you go back to older stuff and he'll pop up in it, and that's what's so funny about it, because he did a lot of work even prior to Gus Fring, but like now it's so much more. And like I said, a lot of that early stuff, it's kind of all over the place in terms of what he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
and now it is a lot of like, where's the volume knob on Gus, which is a shame because I'm sure he doesn't want to do that necessarily. But you take work, right? Like. It's what you're known for.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the Community movie on his credits because that's being worked on. I guess he's not going to be making an appearance.
Yeah, he might still be. I don't think any of that's final yet. They're trying to keep some of those cameos quiet. It's interesting. I'm looking at. I didn't know this, but him and Jonathan Banks worked together before on an episode of The Equalizer. He was the. Oh no! Wait,
Oh
I'm
my
thinking.
God.
You know,
Isn't
I'm thinking
that
of
the
Wise
80s?
Guy. Oh yeah, totally 80s. Like, there's another one here where he plays 3 episodes of Miami Vice. He played 3 different characters. He played a guy named Adonis Jackson, a guy named Ricky, and a guy named Luther. And they just
He's
kept
in
using
Miami
him.
Vice.
Yeah,
I gotta look this up.
I kind of want to go back and see this stuff.
Carlo Esposito.
Esposito.
Miami Vice.
Yeah. And probably a little baby face in there. Young guy. NYPD
I don't want
Blue.
to see.
Oh,
Miami Vice has a YouTube account where they post clips of their show. Oh my god.
You guys see some Miami Vice.
The Homicide Life on the Street's finally going to start streaming, and I guess he was great in that. 22 episodes of that. That was like his big deal, and I never saw it. I kind of want to see that. The guy that made The Wire made that show. It was like his first thing.
All right, I posted a link. The Miami Vice account did a compilation of his appearances in the show.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, he's a cocaine dealer. Full circle. I bet you he saw Cocaine Ghost.
Hell yeah.
Cocaine Ghost. I want to write that movie so badly.
Oh, he was in
Like, that
Carlito's
would be
Way.
a great like campy B movie. It's just a bunch of ghosts that are crackheads, so they're just crazy. They're not scary. They're just super annoying and crazy.
Oh, I take it back. He was in a direct-to-video sequel to Carlito's Way called Carlito's Way: Rise to Power, and it's trash. Never mind. Anyway, that guy's great, is the point. Moving on. Humble Games laid everybody off. This is not to be confused with the Humble Bundle. The Humble Bundle still is a separate thing. It's run separately. But anyway, they're going to be using a consultancy to launch remaining committed titles. People are not happy about this. Certainly the people getting laid off are not happy about it. And there's also a lot of rumblings about other stuff going on that maybe it makes it all worse. But all we really know right now is the consultancy will push out upcoming games like Slay the Spire 2. That was theirs. And
wait, what?
Yeah, that's a Humble Games game.
Oh shit.
Yeah. It's still coming out. They have to commit. They committed. They're doing it, but they laid everybody off and turned it all over to something else, and I think that sucks. So
Yeah, I saw at least one former Heroes guy that was there posted that he lost his job in these.
yeah.
So it's just such. I mean, this is why we were a bit celebratory with the talking about unions forming at Microsoft and with Blizzard and Bethesda, because like right now is not a very stable work environment, and something's got to be done to help these people at least protect them from the worst practices that are going on out there. And I've heard rumblings, I haven't researched it, but I've heard there's maybe some really shady shit with this Humble Games business. So
yeah, which is a real bummer because their original vision, at least for Humble Bundle, and maybe still is, again, they're run separately, but Humble Bundle had, really grassroots sort of beginnings. And
I like that when they lay things off. I like going to their websites and finding they haven't like updated anything on their website. Like remember when the UK Sony studio got shuttered, and I sent them an email on the show to get some clarification on some stuff. I never got a response back. And like now I'm on humblegames.com, and it's like calling all streamers, YouTubers, and more. Apply here to like, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should apply. Now might be a good time.
Yeah, great time to apply.
Like, I just, like, why is this stuff still up if you're laying people off?
The games, they don't own the developers. They're just a publisher. So the way this will work with a consultancy is the people who make the upcoming games that are still on their docket will still do everything they did before. It'll even still be the Humble Games name. It's just that they're getting out of the publisher business, and they have fired everybody who was in that side of it. And I think somebody like IGN or Zip Davis or somebody owns all this. So it's not that big of a surprise. We had a whole conversation on DTNS, and I cannot remember the owners, but who are we? Let's see here. We're awesome. Win as a team. We're owners.
We're awesome.
Small and dedicated remote team bound by our love of games and company values.
View all open positions. Ooh, we got a position in finance and marketing. Yeah, they haven't updated it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, I don't know. I guess they can't really, that would just be signaling the layoffs coming before they're coming, but it's kind of funny that.
Don't you think, though, afterwards it would be the first thing you do, or you'd have a plan? I would think of that. I would go, well, we can't really have our website telling a different story or else it's going to look worse.
I've worked for too many companies to be surprised by this.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the updates page. It's just June 27th, 2024. Hit the trail for a Steam summer sale.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what about the new, anyways.
If all they were publishing was garbage, I would be less bothered by this, but they've had some really good games, and they've all sold really well. I don't understand what happened. There's more shit going on than we know.
Well, aren't they owned by IGN or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I was saying before,
Yeah.
they're owned either by IGN or Ziff or somebody like that. I can't remember who bought them out.
Ziff Davis Company, it says here on the bottom.
And maybe Ziff still owns IGN. I don't know. I've lost track.
So like,
that used to be well, it is tangled, but it used to be so many different publishers. They were all in the magazine business at one point, and then they consolidated online.
This is the same shit that affects gaming journalism. Ziff Davis is a vertically focused digital media and internet company whose portfolio includes leading brands in technology, entertainment, and blah blah blah. It's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
they're just shifting numbers around,
shifting money around. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. So they own Ziff owns IGN, Humble Games, Dicebreaker, Digital Foundry, Eurogamer, GamesIndustry.biz, Hookshot, Rock Paper Shotgun, and VG247.
Yeah.
So like these are, yeah, they're just not happy. It's whatever. Maybe it's like not part of their plan for making money, or who knows. It's a way for them to lose less money.
Publishing's probably hard, and they lose money at it, or they don't make as much money on publishing as they do just running ads and doing content. So that's probably why they're getting out.
They're just not interested in being like, well, it's a force for good, even if it doesn't make money.
Well, yeah, but again,
overall, we have lots of stuff.
Yeah, but don't, just for lack of confusion, they're not closing down Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle stays. No. It still does what it does. It's just their games publisher side.
Yeah.
Which is Humble Games, which still sucks either way.
I mean, it's just, I think the point I'm trying to make is they're probably the people who decided this are super uninvolved in whatever they were doing.
I would agree.
Like, they get handed down a notice that we're not doing it anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah, they're corporate.
There was nothing they could do to make that better or not, avoid that outcome. Essentially,
corpos. Hey, you can play the new Fallout London game if you want to backtrack your save a little, or not your save, but your patch a little bit. This is basically a whole new Fallout game that a lot of people are very excited about. And this little indie studio made this entire thing. It was supposed to come out right around the time they patched Fallout 4, but they didn't know that patch was coming. The patch jacked them up. They had to delay everything. But now it's ready. There is some stuff you got to do. Let's see. Does it say the mod has? Oh, okay. The mod has some realism, melee combat, and features voice acting from Neil Newborn, from Baldur's Gate, Colin Baker from Doctor Who, and Sylvester McCoy from Doctor Who. Let's see. Anyway, I want to see this. I want to play it. I want to see a full game set in London. That's cool. Available now. Let's see. Oh, John, did you get your Cybertruck in Fortnite? Did you get it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's a shame.
There's a Cybertruck in Fortnite?
There sure is, Bo.
Oh, no.
Let's have a look.
Rocket League. I think that there's clearly some epic connection here because mysteriously Cybertrucks have appeared in Rocket League and Fortnite, both Epic-owned proper IPs there. But yeah, it's tied to an event. I'm not.
I can explain why.
Well, I know why.
It's probably the easiest assignment they've ever had in terms of meshing the geometry for the thing. Yeah, we can do it. We can do that in the weekend. Bo's finally right for once.
No, Bo's absolutely
that's probably
right.
Actually the most accurate it's ever been to. Well, we can do that in a weekend. We got barely anything we got to do.
Yeah, we could do this on a Friday before lunch.
Shape ever.
Yeah.
Can you drop a pixel in the world and color it silver? Maybe put a light on it.
I mean, think about it though. If you're Tesla / Musk, you're like, what is the easiest, cheapest? I mean, this is just cheap advertising. You just throw money at Epic and say, "Here, Epic, put our truck in your game." It's like a no-brainer,
I can honestly say I'm not going to say that I might not accidentally end up with it because I do play a decent amount of Fortnite still, but I'm not chasing it. It's not like I was with Magneto's cape.
Yeah,
which I unlocked recently. It wasn't. I wasn't desperately trying. I got to use Magneto powers. I got to use more Magneto powers so I can do this. Mm-hmm. I won't be chasing the Cybertruck, but sometimes you unlock things without realizing it. So if I end up with it, I end up with it.
The first comment under the Rocket League tweet is quite good. First car to perfectly fill out its hitbox.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Do you blow them up? Can you shoot them? Or can you fire from
Well,
them? Are they weapons themselves? Like how?
No, but in Rocket League, like you have the hitbox with the ball, right?
Oh,
it's like
right.
They have some weird shaped cars where the hitbox.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they didn't do a great job, and you expect to hit it and you don't, or vice versa. And I think this one's just like it's a rectangle and a triangle on top of it.
Yeah. It's Max Payne 1. It's a Max Payne 1 car is what it reminds me of. Something Max Payne would all be grimacing in. Going, hey.
I mean, I think there's like more vertices on Geometry and Quake than there is on this vehicle they're showing. You know, like it's pretty funny.
The Unreal Tournament models had more polygons per model.
Yeah, it was made up of 152 Cybertrucks is now the metric with which we grade models in video games.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Yeah, if I end up with one, I'll let you know. But I'm not too worried about it right now. They're doing Pirates of the Caribbean, which I also don't particularly care about. Except there is an item in Fortnite called a ship in a bottle, where you basically throw it down, and a massive full-size pirate ship just spawns into the world and just starts plowing through anything in front of it.
Jeez.
And I think that's maybe my favorite item they've put in the game. It does like no damage; it just kind of knocks people a little bit. So it's not the most like. It's not a super effective weapon to use, but just destroying buildings massively because a giant pirate ship appeared in the middle of it is so insanely fun that I will run around with multiple. I'll sacrifice having good guns and healing items to have a stupid pirate ship I can throw around.
That's pretty good. Do those stick around after the event, or are they gone after the event?
No, I think once Pirates is done, that'll probably go away. Sometimes they pop back up. I do really miss the water bending. I was so good at Fortnite while water bending was in the game. Oh, I was so good. Now I'm garbage at it.
The water bending phase was John's real moment.
Oh, I loved it. Water bending was so good. It was like playing what's her name? I can't remember her name from Overwatch who had ice powers.
May.
It was like playing May again, like just firing a super high damaging projectile long distances. I was like, I've done this before. I was doing really, really well. And on top of that, if you stand in water with it equipped, you heal. So it was just it was a beautiful thing.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I also wanted to mention too, you probably shouldn't get the Cybertruck in Fortnite because it has low defenses.
Oh,
famously, the Elon tried to shoot it because it had bulletproof glass, and the bullets went through and broke it. Remember? I don't know if you guys remember.
It wasn't bullets; it was like a rock or something, right? Or a steel ball he tried to throw through it, and it broke.
Yeah, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but maybe it's bulletproof glass. But they did some sort of demonstration showing how strong it was, and famously, it was broke.
Yeah.
So don't it probably has low defense if they're being close to reality.
Don't hide in that car and try not to get shot. I'm curious how it plays in regular Fortnite. Because there are vehicles in there now, right? That's a thing.
There have been vehicles for a long time. I don't ever get in the vehicles because I'm a person of moral character.
Yeah.
But some people some people like to get in vehicles to overcompensate for something. And
I didn't know. I haven't played Fortnite. Thanks for letting me know that if I get in a vehicle, I'm a degen.
Look, I'm here to help you guys. I'll give you any hot takes to help you navigate the complex world of Fortnite.
Yeah, the only Fortnite advice I will ever get is from you because I don't trust anybody else about that game.
People are going to be like, John doesn't know what he's talking about. This season's all about vehicles.
Well,
Mad Max style vehicles too.
That stuff's cool. That made me slightly tempted, but then I was like, not really. I'm not that tempted. I got a lot of Mad Max stuff, including. Did I tell you guys Tanner gave me for my birthday? You can see it back here. See Max's face and Furiosa and stuff. That is a signed by Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, and Nicholas Hoult on there. They're actual signatures at some event. It wasn't even like a con. It was like some, original promotion event where they were going around promoting the movie back in 2015. It's wrapped. It's in like a plastic safety sleeve and all this. I will cherish that thing until my death.
Oh, bring it forward so we can see it better.
Yeah,
show and tell.
Scott's like, no, I don't want to touch it. I don't want anything bad to happen to it.
Don't touch it if it's not a plastic sleeve. But
it's in a sleeve. Right? It's protected.
Oh, that's so cool.
Look at that. Sick. Actual Sharpie signatures from the three principles of the film, essentially.
That's awesome.
And I'll tell you this about Tom Hardy's signature. I don't know what the F that says. Does that look like a?
Says,
Is there?
says GG.
GG.
It looks like a baguette with a long hair sticking out of it.
It's pretty cool. It looks like the kind of signatures where you sat and had to do a million of these. I don't know how many of these exist, but I can't believe he got me this. I'm still blown away by it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's also the one that's taking care of guild invites for the core retail guild now that guilds are cross realm. So
yeah, start signing up. Core Guild's probably going to go hard in retail. I'm getting that feeling.
Yep, I got the itch a little bit, so I'm excited. Okay, what else we got going? Oh, this is great news for me. Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Dragon Age 4, will be Steam Deck verified at launch and will not require the EA app.
Oh, hooray!
That means I don't have to dink around with some freaking middleware crap. I hate that on Steam Deck. I don't like it on desktop either, but I don't like it anywhere. So that's great news. No EA app required. Steam Deck verified day one. I'm stoked. That game, more and more, I'm ready to play Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
So you're
I
getting
wanna
hyped
play
for
it.
this.
Oh yeah,
I am too, despite my lamentations that it's not more Dragon Age Origins.
No, it's
But
newsworthy.
I didn't watch 5 hours of lore just so I could not play Dragon Age.
Oh, you're just invested. But I think it is newsworthy that there's goodwill here and there, because like that, franchise is just, it's maligned, and a lot, it's never.
they need this. They need this to be
yeah.
smooth and clean and happy. They really do. Like, to me, this is a chance for them to, in a bigger, more mainstream way, let people know the EA is not always trying to screw you over. And I think they tried to do that with the remake of Dead Space, but not enough people picked that up.
That still bums me.
Still
out
such
so
a bummer.
much. I wanted to see Dead Space 2 remade so badly.
Yeah, I did
not
too.
that it really needed it, but I will.
No,
I love Dead Space 2 so much.
Yes, we needed more. That Dead Space remake, they nailed. It was
special.
Absolutely a pleasure to play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Loved every second of it. They need to do it again. And they made money. I don't know what the problem is. They just didn't, make so much money. It's not enough money, darling. He drives off in his fancy car. We have these guys all figured out. What else we got going here? Oh, video game voice actors go on strike after 1.5 years trying to negotiate AI-related terms. This is a little late breaking. This just happened, right?
Yeah, it's today. It's hot off the press.
Yeah.
SAG, they've had enough. They've had enough.
That includes, I think, our pal Liam and crew. I'm trying to see. Let's see. Many video game performers, including Solid Snake actor David Hayter and Commander Shepard actor Jennifer Hale, have voiced their concerns about AI and its impact on the work in recent times. In March this year, Eurogamer spoke to several BAFTA-nominated Baldur's Gate 3 actors who revealed the dark side of success, fueled by AI cloning. Oh, good. I'm glad something's going on with that. Let's see what happens.
I don't mean to completely derail this because I do think this is a good and important topic, and I'm sorry. But I'm just I'm looking at this article for the first time. Fran Drescher is in charge of SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah, she's the lead.
I had no idea about that.
For some reason, I had heard that. Like, it had come up, I think.
Well, during the writer strike, she was on mic all the time, like at the events and protests and stuff.
I clearly don't follow events well enough.
And she wasn't.
That makes me so happy.
I think she's just like the general president. Like, it's not just for the.
Yeah, you get
actors,
voted.
so...
You get voted in by your peers, and you have a term. And there's other people like you'd know. That
you're
did it.
correct in that. Like, the nanny was a while ago. I haven't really seen her in anything, so it's just a crazy name to just pop up as like, oh.
Well, I also just I
really
liked the nanny. So.
Oh, you were a nanny fan.
I don't remember it because I was young enough to where I don't have a ton of memories of it, but I remember watching a lot of Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah.
Well, what
and
was
the nanny.
Did she have like a tag, like how Urkel had "Did did she have like a line like that?
It was her laugh, probably.
Yeah, she was always going, hey, like she had that whole New York thing and everything. She doesn't really do that normally, but that show it really pegged her as just kind of that.
It was her whole character, right?
Yeah.
I will also tell you, growing up watching a lot of Mr. Belvedere and The Nanny really set some weird expectations for how life growing up was supposed to be, and some real questioning glances at my parents like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Where's my fun person that's supposed to come hang out with me while you guys are at work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead, you got me a babysitter that I had to call you and say, like, hey, I don't think she should be my sitter anymore. She's sticking a fork in the toaster right now. They had to get on the phone with her and go, don't put a fork in the toaster.
What's
Apparently
crazy? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that apparently there's also a whole The Nanny YouTube channel where you can watch clips and episodes.
Oh, hell yeah. There's a Nanny channel on Tubi, I think. It just plays it nonstop, 24 hours a day. Fran Drescher was reelected in September. Let's see. She's done all sorts of stuff. Let's see. She's a cancer survivor, responsible for unanimous passage of a bill in Congress, made multiple trips to Capitol Hill, lobbied for health issues, was appointed public diplomacy envoy for the U.S. State Department during the administrations of Bush and Obama. She is grateful to have her rescue dog, Angel Grace. Oh. Well, there you go then. It's been a fun walk down Hollywood Lane.
I feel like I derailed the conversation.
Yeah, so about AI.
Yeah.
I mean, this is good. Like, we just have to watch it and see how it goes. But
We don't want any deep faked episodes of The Nanny.
No, we do not.
Without Fran Drescher's.
Although bring back
explicit
Belvedere,
consent.
Belvedere AI. What if
remembered
the new
nothing
AI
about
bot?
either of these
What about MASH AI?
So instead of saying "Hey Siri" or "Hey whatever," it'd be like "Hey Hey Mr. Belvedere,"
Hey, Mr. Belvedere,
or "Hey," or "Hey Mash." Like, let us name this shit. Don't force your named robots down my throat. Give me the chance. You know, I want to say "Hey Pubis" or something dumb. Let me have the choice. Pubis. Hey, Pubis, what time is it?
What is Pubis from? That's a character. Was there someone named Pubis from somewhere?
I don't know. Is there? I feel bad for whoever's named Pubis.
Was there a Pubis in our D&D campaign?
Pubis
maybe.
does sound familiar.
There was a pelvis,
Who was Pubis?
but not a pubis. But I think pubis is like...
I don't know if I should search pubis.
I do. It's a pubis
Kat,
bone.
is there anything in core lore about pubis? It's like really tweaking me for some reason.
I have safe search off, and all it shows me
Okay,
is
it's
bones.
just a bone.
It's just bones. Yeah, it's your pubic bone.
Okay. I thought maybe we named something pubis. There's a core lore here that I'm not thinking of right now. I'm sure it'll come to me later.
I'm having a similar vibe at the moment. Yeah. Ooh, don't scroll down too far though. Okay, let's go back up here. There we go.
You know, you need to be happy that you dodged the bullet the first time and not look for more bullets.
I kept going. I'm going, oh, some of these diagrams are interesting. What's that? And you're like, uh-oh, we're getting into the pube of the pubis. It's trouble down here below the fold. Anyway, we're done with that. Let's move on now to some quick correspondence.
That's a good question.
This came to us via email from Brandon. He goes by McBone in his online life. Love that. I've met Brandon. Or Brandon, rather. Brandon. Oh. Hey, Core Crew. First off, love the show, and you do an awesome job. I enjoyed this week's discussion around the Xbox Game Pass price hikes. Given my Game Pass just expired, the timing was perfect. For me, I still think it is one of the best deals in gaming, even with the price hike. I do as well, by the way. I don't buy a ton of games, but like having access to the library and day one releases, but why pay full price if you don't need to? I'm sure you're familiar with ways to get Game Pass at a discount. I followed this PC World article. I can confirm it still works. I did this 3 years ago with Xbox Gold to get 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate at a discount. The rules have changed a bit, but it still buys you 3 years of Game Pass for $129. cdkeys.com, and then convert that 3 years of Game Pass Core to 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate. So for $129 in Game Pass subs plus $1 to activate my Game Pass Ultimate 14-day trial, I now have 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate for $540 a month. So you can jump through some hoops and get some deals here, is what we're saying. P.S. Scott, we are neighbors. I live just over the mountain from you when you lived in Eagle Mountain. That's true.
This email took a twist. It could, if you do you have threatening music? Like, even though I know it's not threatening, just play some dark, sinister music.
Do I have anything?
Is this person an actual cocaine ghost?
I mean, it's a great question. Let's try. I don't know if I do.
He's walking around your house.
No, that's
No, that's too triumphant.
I'm here to kill.
no. Here, John. Here. This is kind of good. Bo's music. Okay. Here, I'll do it now. P.S. Scott, we are neighbors. I live just over the mountain from you in Eagle Mountain. Well, I used to live there. I don't live there now. I was at your Walmart movie premiere party. Warcraft,
What?
sorry. I don't know why I said Walmart. I don't know why I said Walmart.
Take a breath.
I don't know why I did
This is a long email, dude. By
That's
the way,
not, I know. I don't
You're
have
killing
a
Scott right now.
I don't have a problem reading it. I just don't know why Warcraft looked like Walmart to me.
That's what threw me. Like, normally if Scott, biffs it a little on the email, it's like, all right, just let him roll with it. But Warcraft to Walmart is one of my favorite slips I've ever seen.
The Walmart movie premiere. Anyway, the Warcraft movie premiere, that would have been in 2016, with my boy who is now 18. That's crazy. I work for a large company named Broadcom in their Draper office. That's not far from me. If you ever want to talk big company stuff or just take a break, lunch is always on me. Yes, I know there are 3 hosts. And if John and Bo are ever here in Salt Lake City, same deal applies. Hope you're all doing well and doing great, and keep up the good work, says Brandon. Well, thank you, Brandon. McBone.
I was there once.
Yeah, you were. You should come.
I was there one time. I went and had ramen. It was delicious.
Could happen again. You never know. If it does, we'll take you up on it. I appreciate that. But also to the Game Pass thing, I agree. It is still the best deal in gaming, even at full price. I'm not using it enough to justify the hike. That's all. That's it. If somebody is just constantly in there, I wouldn't cancel that sub. That sub's amazing. But I wasn't in there enough. So that's my thing. Defendo. Remember the whole Defendo thing, Bo? Remember that?
How can I forget Canada's own martial art of Defendo?
That's right. Well, we got a call about it. Here you go.
Hey, Core Hounds. It is Zach Soul, the history teacher, but I'm here for episode 425 of Core, in which in the beginning, you're talking about Defendo, the Canadian martial art. But did you know that there is a Canadian movie called Defendor 2009 with Woody Harrelson, and he plays I won't say superhero, but he plays a special hero, Defendor, the Canadian hero, Defendor, O-R. Yeah, check out that Woody Harrelson one. That's an old gem. All right, have a good one.
I'd never heard of that before. Does he? The one part he doesn't say is, does he know Defendo? The Defender.
Yeah. What is his martial art? Is his martial art Defendo?
Woody Harrelson. Yeah. Okay, we're looking this up. Defendor with an O. Oh my gosh, is this real? A regular man adopts superhero persona known as the Defendor, combs the city streets at night, looking for his archenemy Captain Industry. 2009, Sandra Oh's in it, Kat Dennings, a few other people, Michael Kelly, I like him. Okay, but I can't tell if he knows Defendo as the Defendor, that's cool.
I see a picture from the movie where he is using a slingshot, so we are at that level of combat tactics.
This looks... somebody sent us this for FilmSack, and we never watched it.
Well, now it's time. There's
now
never
it's
been
time.
a better time to watch Defendor.
Here, Chad, here's a photo of Woody doing his thing. It's so dumb. I like Woody Harrelson, but give me a break here. This is real.
Yeah,
stupid.
I think he's supposed to be, I think it's not a serious superhero. It's a dude trying to be a superhero.
Yeah, I might watch it.
Kind of deal.
I might watch that. But Canada, I like that. That's cool. Is Woody Canadian? Maybe he is Canadian. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Is he not?
He's no, I don't think so. But I mean, Sandra Oh and Elias Koteas, who's also in it, they're both big time Canadian.
Oh, I didn't know Sandra
actors.
Oh was Canadian.
I think
That's cool.
Kat Dennings might actually be a Canadian too. I'm not 100% sure about that one.
All right, here it is. Oh no, he grew up in Lebanon, Ohio. Was born in Midland, Texas. So he is not a
American.
Canadian. Yeah. Well, he's not. Yeah, Woody is. But
yeah, Woody's American. But Sandra, who's the director? That's.
I like Sandra Oh a lot. I just saw her in Sideways. She was great in that.
But I don't know.
Killing Eve. Killing Eve's so good.
Defendor is a 2009 Canadian-American vigilante comedy drama Written and directed by Peter Stebbings in his directorial debut.
He's Canadian, right?
I'm checking that now.
Peter
He's a
Stebbings.
Canadian actor, director, producer. Yeah,
right.
This might be a Canadian joint, which would sort of explain its fate being distributed.
I'm in. I'm all in. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm just looking for critical reception here on the Wikipedia page. There's
probably
no section.
Probably
Nobody watched it.
Nobody watched it. 6.7
yeah.
out of 10 overall. User reviews. Let me just read one. Fantastic, says Paul Hackinson. This movie was awesome. This other guy, clever parody. Actually, the reviews are all right.
He collected financing from Canadian Film Telefilm Canada, about 1/4 of the film's $4 million budget, and turned over stones to find the rest. So mainly funded through his personal savings. Damn, like they have a couple million in personal savings.
Huh. People like this movie. These reviews are pretty good. All right, I'll watch this.
Oh, look, there's a crack connection. The producers consulted with workers from Toronto's social services and prostitute and decriminalization of sex worker activist Wendy Babcock to help Kat Dennings develop her character. They wanted people with experience using crack cocaine and doing sex work so she could create a more realistic character.
Wait, so Kat
this
Dennings...
movie has crack in it, too.
That's cool. But did Kat Dennings do sex work to learn her role?
No, the consultant did.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
And then she consulted on it.
Yeah, I think she portrays maybe a sex worker in the movie. I don't...
The lady, the Babcock, right? That one.
I honestly have never heard of this movie. So, thank you for the...
I'm weirdly interested now.
By the way...
Go ahead.
It's a little bit of a tangent, but I found out YouTube has movies for free.
Yeah, they do. They have one of my favorite movies of all time is up there for free now. Right now, it's Barry Levinson's Avalon. If you've never seen it, it's so good.
Yeah, no, I watched a movie today. I haven't watched a movie in a while, and then I found it there, and I'm like, oh, sick. Because there's this... So I posted it in the core chat. There's this kung fu movie called... Kingdoms of Walls Walled In or something like that. It looks so awesome. I can't wait to see it. And then I went down this rabbit hole of watching, like kung fu flicks. Like, what are the new ones? I haven't done this in a while. And there's this movie called Baby Assassins.
Yeah.
Which is free on YouTube. And I watched it today, and it was quite enjoyable.
It was good, yeah.
It's a Japanese movie called Baby Assassins. It's like a dark movie where they're just like young women that are kind of entitled and can't work jobs because killing people is too lucrative, so they just get really bored.
Yeah.
And, they kill people, and it's very, they're very blasé about it. Like, they're taking lives and just being like, anyways, and they get on their phone and just very banal, but it's, good and has some good action sequences towards the end. So
I'll have to check it out. There's a lot of shit on here. I can tell you that.
But yeah, no, I was still just like, oh, shit, there's just all these movies like Memento's on there. I haven't seen Memento. I haven't seen Donnie Darko either. That's free on here.
Ooh, that movie's weird.
I saw Donnie Darko, but I had a fever at the time. Did not they did not go well together.
That's a bad idea, man. Lots of old westerns. I love that shit. Just old cheeseball westerns. All right. You know what? That's great. I didn't realize there was this much. I saw that one was on here, but I guess they're doing.
Yeah, no, there's a good chunk of free stuff. I don't know. They don't advertise it. Like I had no idea. I knew they had movies because you see it every now, buy or rent, but I didn't know they had like a free section. And I was like, it was just nice. It was convenient because I was like already watched the trailer for Baby Assassins. I was like, oh, I should remember that and check it out. And then it was just available.
Yeah,
like, oh, I'll watch it.
Oh, that's great. Well, everybody write down the ones we said, and then also watch Avalon. It's one of those movies I hold in incredibly high regard. All right, well, there you have it. That's it for your voicemails. We're going to talk about our patrons real quick. We got some new ones. Oh, man. I cannot say enough about these people. Look at all these brand new folks. Dooku. Count Dooku joined. That's cool.
Finally.
Yeah, it's about time.
He's got the bent lightsaber handle with a little kink in it. Love it. Marcus, Ryan Rivenclaw. That's cool. Joe Uhl. I saw him in chat earlier. We were talking. Joe Supportio. Supporto.
Saporito.
Joe Saporito, I believe is correct. Thank you, Bo. And Colin Cassidy. That's an easy one. All these names are now available for the world. And says new patrons. Thank you guys for joining us at patreon.com/core show, where you'll get no ads or commercials. You'll get pre-show content every week and monthly episodes of host specials. I put one up recently about why I play games like an arcade. It's inspired by John. I did a whole thing about that. I think people will enjoy it. If you haven't heard it, go check it out. And monthly art in the mail, all kinds of reasons. No reasons not to. Go sign up today at patreon.com/core show. Everything else is at frogpants.com/core. All right, we have a tradition. The tradition is, even though we said the games a lot of times today, we still have to have Grandma sum it up at the end. So please take it away, Grandma.
You have to.
Yeah.
Well, the show's gone real long, I guess, because the pre-show was just a rambling mess. So we're going to get out of here real quick by reading these real fast. Here we go. You ready? Write them down.
Go.
No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy XIV, Elden Ring, World of Warcraft, War Within pre-patch, Path of Exile, Crab Champions, Boar Blasters, Riven, Elden Ring, and Zenless Zone Zero were the games that were talked about today.
No wonder people don't like the rapid fire one, because they don't know how to write all that down. They don't know what to do.
You
with
actually went fast today, Grandma.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think probably we said it enough times that they'll be fine.
They'll be all right. It's a good reminder, and also Grandma took her meds.
Also, shout out to let's get the name right. The person doing our timestamps for the YouTube.
Oh, that guy rocks, dude. What's his name?
Let's give him a proper shout out.
Hold on, it's right here. I found it. This guy's name is shit. That was all impressive.
Nope, that's not the name.
No, that's not the name at all. It's not it.
You got it wrong.
Null Pip.
Certainly not what we.
Null Pip.
Null Pip. That's it. Thank you. Null Pip does this every week now for the last few weeks, and it makes it so all the timestamps are on YouTube. So if you're watching via video, check hit the little more on the comments. Or not the comments, the description, and you'll have all that stuff. Plus, they're all broken down.
And if you appreciate if they're there, give his comment a little thumbs up. That's the least we could all do. So if you're watching this, be like, "Oh yeah, thanks, buddy."
Yeah.
Now I can find the sections of the show I want to refer to. It's nice.
Yeah, that guy rocks. So huge thanks to him and everybody who does the nice little things they do for the show. All these free games lately. Shatterbox. No, wait, what is it? What's his name again? Shatterproof. Just people like that. How could you be so nice? How is it possible that we have such a nice?
Yeah, Shatterproof. What the hell is this? Thank you.
Right?
I don't mean to say it that way, but a game is plenty. It's very generous. Thank you.
It's extremely nice guy. Anyway, you guys are all great. We love you all. Have a fantastic week. Be here next week for another episode of Core. Until then, go play some games, and we'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com. Oh.